Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Vault XL. Tonight's commentary will be about different storylines from the wild, wicked to the macabre. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to intertwine four storylines in one live stream. Basically, this should be a part of my Your Crazy America um, segment. I possibly will change that on the title. Hope you all are well. My movie of the week is What Lies Beneath. It's from the late 90s, and it is a movie with Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer. Please check it out. I decided to do a throwback movie. Hello, No Perspective. How are you? Good to see ya. Decided to do a throwback. Every now and again, I'll throw a movie in there that's been around a little, a little while. Give y'all something to do. Go back and, in the past, blast from the past, and find something to watch. What Lies Beneath is a very interesting movie about a woman who has been hearing strange things going on in her house, and she's perturbed, and she's also concerned about the young lady across the wall from her, who she believes may be abused by her husband. So please check it out. What Lies Beneath. It's also free on YouTube. Let's get down to business. First story is coming out of Virginia, and I'm going to play a little bit of it. Feel free to check it out. Everything I'm talking about just about is on my community page. Once again, four stories in one live. Thank you very much. If you decide, hello, Sophie. If you decide that you don't like your job, especially when you're doing public service work, it's possibly best you quit your job because you don't like it. Why show up? No mail today. First commentary. This is from a lady who found something suspicious in a garbage can at her apartment complex. Thank you for joining me.
Hello, Dr. Johnson here, certified in human ethics. And here we have second and first class mail in a dumpster 36 miles from where it should be. It should be in Hurt, Virginia, and we're in Campbell County here.
Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you, No Perspective.
So the reason why we're speaking today is we are talking about a recent incident. Tell me just off the bat, when did this all happen? So 2 days ago in the morning, I was at this dumpster here, and I opened it, and I immediately saw something that did not belong and that stood out. So those were going to be a teal color Glad trash bags full of something that was not household garbage. And so when you saw that, I mean, first of all, how did you notice that to begin with? How did you even know that that was something that was out of the ordinary? Because in this location, the household garbage is usually in white or black bags, and it is, as full as it can be. And when people are done, they bring it here and they throw it in, and everything's jumbled. These were heavier bags full of square objects inside, and they were carefully placed right in the dumpster. And what made you curious enough to look at what it was? Because it wasn't normal. And so when you decided, okay, I gotta figure out what this is, what was your next steps? What did you do? How did you figure out what was going on? So I opened the bag, I saw it was magazines, and there was mail in between the magazines. And so I did not look at the mail. I thought it had already been opened, looked through, and so I took the mail and discarded it in the dumpster, and I took out the magazines to see if I could donate them or do something with them. And then after a little bit, you decided, wait, something's off. Kind of walk me through that. So the magazines, I wasn't sure if they were publisher samples or what was going on, because several of them were, there were many of each one. There were 3 or 4 sales magazines, and then specialty magazines for farmers, magazines I'd never seen before. And so when you realized that there were quite a few of these magazines, what red flags, what bells were going off in your mind, and what kind of conclusion did you come to? Just the way they were packaged, it looked odd. They were all packaged together. Then I came back here. They were all packaged together. I realized that the address was Hurt, Virginia. It was nowhere near here, so it was unlikely that a resident or someone cleaning out one of these townhomes threw it in the garbage. And so then, what did you see with the mail? You mentioned that they were how were they wrapped? Not just the magazines. How was the mail wrapped? And how did you grab the mail? How did you figure out how to get to that point? So once I realized it was probably a carrier dump, I came back here and was able to retrieve the large handful of mail. And so you grabbed the large handful of mail. Actually, first I want to ask, and you answered this already, but I like to make sure and go through everything. So why did you determine what made you think this was a carrier dump? There was no other option. It wasn't stolen. I mean, I don't think someone broke into the post office early in the morning after the mail had arrived and taken these packages, hidden them in a Glad teal bag, and then brought them here 35 miles away to dump them. What made you think this was a mailbox? What made you think this was a carrier dump and not a mailbox theft? It was too numerous. There were too many items. They were going to different addresses. And you said that they were like wrapped. They were all wrapped. They had did you say elastic bands around them, or what did it have around it? I don't know what they're called. It's okay. Is it like it's a heavy plastic? They were tied together. They were tied. Yeah, they were all tied.
I'm going to stop right there. Oh, mercy, mercy. All right, everybody, let's weigh out what happened. She's at her garbage can in the morning. Some might say, well, what, were you emptying trash? I'm surprised the girl, I could tell the girl was young because of the way the questions she was asking. I said, well, she's a newbie. So one might say, ma'am, were you dumpster diving? I'm being a little cheeky. The way they were wrapped, they were put in a teal colored garbage bag, not your typical color garbage bag. They were wrapped, mail wrapped in magazines. They also had different names. They were 36 miles away from the location where they were dumped, which was at this apartment complex. Let's put our thinking caps on, everybody. Number one, did a mail carrier dump these letters 36 miles away? Because then you have to say, well, how did they get there to this townhome development? Well, could it be the mailman lives at this apartment complex and he put those letters in that colored bag and dumped them there? Is it a theft of different people's mail wrapped neatly and then thrown in the garbage by just a random person? Somebody just decided to go steal some mail 36 miles away, packaged them neatly, and put them in a teal garbage bag. Ali, what's so funny? Well, let's be truthful. There have been many cases over the years, I'm sure, of mail carriers not delivering the mail. It's one thing for you to put the mail in somebody else's box, which I've had that happen recently. It seems like everywhere I have lived, somebody has put my damn mail in another damn box. And I had to end up saying something to a lady after she knocked on my door. Matter of fact, I was doing a live about 2 weeks ago, and she had knocked on the door. I was praying you all didn't hear her. And she was like, this belongs to you. And it was a SIM card for one of my phones. And so when I bumped into her later that evening in the elevator after the live, I just asked her quite frankly, I said, why did you open my mail? Oh, I thought it was mine. It was jumbled up with my mail. I just looked at her because you know how Queen is. And then she had the nerve to say, well, at least I returned it to you. Do you think Queen responded? You know I didn't. Because it took everything out of me not to catch an elder abuse charge. Heifer, you don't open nothing of mine. Don't tell me it was mixed in with all your mail, so you just cut it right on open. I wanted to say, you can't read? Everything I get in my mailbox, I read the envelope. Over the years, do you know how many pieces of mail I have put back in the drop box? Exactly, because I can read and write. So I don't even want to hear that SHIT she trying to feed me about, I thought it was mine. But anywho, what do you all believe? The mail carrier lives in this apartment complex. He took the mail and threw it in a dumpster. Or somebody found the mail somewhere in a garbage bag and they threw it in a dumpster. But it came from somebody who was a mail carrier. What do y'all think? All I can say is this. The sheriff is going to probably go to the landlord, which they've probably done already, and ask the landlord, does anybody here work for the Postal Service? That'll kill that right there. Do you have any tenants working for the Postal Service? And all you need to hear is, oh yeah, Billy Bob, he works for the Postal Service up in such and such, this hurt heart place, whatever. And then there you have it. There's your bandit. There's your mailman that don't want to deliver the mail. Well, Sophie, possibly. I just assume he might live there because I'm trying to figure out why would you go to an apartment complex and dump the mail? You've got a lot of places to dump mail 36 miles of driving direction. So I'm trying to figure out why would a person dump the mail at an apartment complex? Because, you know, people get used to seeing cars come and go in a parking lot. And if you're a strange car, people are going to be looking at you thinking, okay, why are you dumping trash in our dumpster? Because, you know, when you live in a place, you get used to who lives there. Even if you don't speak to the people, you know who lives in your apartment complex. So you see somebody carrying teal color bags and dumping them. I think you'd probably be like, okay, what's going on here? And I've lived around people who would probably say something like, hey, bro, what you doing? Don't be bringing that trash over here. And then it's U.S. mail at that. Oh, my goodness. I'm just like, over the years, I've heard the craziest stories about mail carriers. A couple of years ago, I brought you all a story, I think. It's probably been about 3 years or so. There was a black guy down in Alabama. He was driving for FedEx, if I'm not mistaken. He decided one day that he had got tired of delivering packages, and he just pulled over on the side of a rural road and threw the packages down into a ravine. Now, I want you all to think about what I just said. What sense does that make? When you could just park the truck, close the door, leave the key in it, go inside, clock out, and carry your black tail home with a notice that you're not coming back. The time you spent pulling all the packages out of the truck and throwing them down the ravine, you could have delivered them. Ding, ding, ding. Hello. But that was too much like doing right. Oh, I'm sick of this job. I'm just going to pull over here on the side of the road and I'm going to throw all these packages down the ravine. Well, naturally, he was caught, fired, and I do believe he had a hefty fine to pay back for all those packages. It was about 250 plus packages. They had to pay people for the things they ordered. It was a big mess. And I just couldn't understand the thought process. And I get it. There have been many of jobs I've worked where I just said, the hell with this. Okay. I got one story I could tell, but I'm not going to tell it. I'm not going to tell it, but I'm going to tell you what. When Queen gets fed up, you already know. I'm out of there, deuces. I'm done with this. But I would not have done that. I would have just said, I'm not feeling well today. And then not showed back up. Not came back to work. I'm feeling unwell. I don't want to come back. Just keep it real. I'm giving you my notice. But to ride around with a full truck, knowing that people are waiting for their mail, their packages, that was the wrong thing to do. Don't laugh, don't make fun of me. No, I wouldn't want to be riding somebody's mail and packages around, and then I'm having a bad day or whatever, and then I just pull over on the side of the road. I know Queen. Queen would take the truck back to the job and park it and walk out. She's not getting ready to go park it on some rural road in the middle of nowhere and start unloading and throwing them down into the damn ravine. That doesn't, when I heard he did that, that didn't even make any sense, because I was thinking to myself, you're so angry that you're going to park the truck and stand there and reach into the truck. This person must have been on dope, because you don't know that you're working still by going into the truck and pulling them out and throwing them over your shoulder, go back to the truck, pull another package out, throw it over your shoulder. You did that 250 plus times. So if you did that 250 plus times, you could have delivered them. Oh my goodness. I said, this is an idiot. An idiot. Okay, everybody. I've brought you a crazy story about the mail situation in Virginia. The lady that found the mail in the garbage can. She does believe it's U.S. mail and that it was a carrier. What's going to happen to this person? Will they be able to find out? I'm sure they will be able to trace it, because the mail is postmarked and everything in this country is damn near traceable. So I'm sure they're going to find out who the person is that delivered the mail and dumped it at this apartment complex. And I'm sure he gonna be sick, because he gonna be one, fired. Then he's gonna be fined for dropping all that damn U.S. mail, because it's theft. And you know you're not supposed to be touching other people's mail. That's why I was looking at this heifer crazy who opened up my package the other week. I wanted to let her know, don't you know this is U.S. mail, heifer? I don't even own the damn mail. This Uncle Sam's mail. What in the hell? Okay, that's Virginia. Let's go over to another city and hear some more mischief. Welcome to the Vote XL. Oh, Lordy, Lordy, Lordy. WSET ABC 13 was the source of that said information. Let's go to Washington, D.C. Let's see what type of foolishness they've got going on up there. Fox 5 is the source. Thank you for joining me. Now, what's going to happen to this person? I'm getting ready to bring you another crazy story of somebody working for public service that don't like their job.
Tonight, among people in the district, this is a DC trash collector caught on camera dumping over garbage bins instead of emptying. Fox 5's Bob Barnard has the story behind the video.
This is where it happened. This is an alley behind K Street Northeast, not far from North Capitol Street. You can see it's a narrow alley, and there's a dead end there, so the trash haulers have to back up after picking up the garbage. The incident that was captured on video was last Friday morning. Take a look.
He's throwing the garbage cans down.
There appears to be a district employee working for the city's Department of Public Works shoving to the ground the trash and recycling bins belonging to a man named Llewellyn Jones. This is proof, he says, of what he calls a chronic issue of the mishandling of trash collection in his neighborhood. Sure enough, everywhere you look, bins are knocked over, sometimes blocking bike lanes or sidewalks. Garbage all over the place. But in this case, Mr. Jones says the city employee's behavior was beyond bad.
What I saw was something that I'd known about for months, is that somebody was throwing my garbage all around the place. And this was the first time I actually had evidence of them doing it. And I had thought that, oh, maybe they were just getting it out of the way in a sloppy way, but it was pretty malicious, and it's just adding to all the garbage in our alley, which is it's a giant mess, and really looking for them to stop doing this.
That was last Friday. Llewellyn says it happened again this morning, even though his bins were empty. A spokesperson for DC's Department of Public Works tells Fox 5, DPW does not condone this type of behavior and will take appropriate action to address it. Here's Ward 6 Councilmember Charles Allen.
I do think we want to note that the the men and women of DPW have been working nights, weekends, holidays for the past month with ice, with snow, with trash. So I want to acknowledge they have been working incredibly hard this last month. Obviously, though, if you've got somebody who is just taking a bin full of recyclables, just tossing it like that, you hear the contents spilling out on the video. That is not at all the conduct or the experience anybody should get. And so I've asked DPW to look into it, to figure out what happened and to address it.
Llewellyn Jones says he confronted the trash hauling crew this morning. He says the driver was sympathetic, seemed concerned. The guy doing the heavy lifting, not so much.
Fox 5. Okay, I want you all to think about this guy who obviously is, I guess, a representative of something. You start the conversation off with, oh, they've been working really hard with the ice and the snow and holidays, blah, 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 blah. Then you go on and say, but we don't tolerate this type of behavior. Okay, well, which is it? Because if I was living in the city and I heard you start off by saying how hard they work, I'm thinking you're going to finish the conversation with, it's no big deal. Because you really shouldn't say they're working so hard and this man has a camera. I mean, a full view camera of the guy dumping the trash and throwing it on the ground. He's literally taking the bin and just pushing it over with the recyclables and trash inside. And the thing that's funny, not funny, but the fact that this guy says, well, the guy confronted the driver and he seemed sympathetic, but the one doing the heavy lifting didn't. That's because that's probably the one that's throwing the damn trash down on the ground. Duh. And did it not occur to any of you all, this is a 2-3 man debacle? Hello, everybody. When the guy on the truck jumps off to get the trash, what does he do? I'll wait. He goes over to the building, the house, gets the bin, and takes it where? Anybody have any ideas? He takes it to the back of the dump truck. So the person that's driving should be realizing every time we go to a stop, he's not bringing the bin back. Duh. So the driver is in on it as well. Bingo card. Come on now, y'all. Y'all falling asleep out there in the chat. Because anybody with sense knows how the garbage truck it operates. It's literally a 3-man hustle. A driver, 2 guys on the back. The guys on the back are the guys who jump off and grab your bin, take it over to the dump truck, throw it in, take your bin back to your residence or business, and then hop back on the back of the truck. So you mean to tell me this guy who's driving, he doesn't realize, he don't hear any jingle jangling going on in the back of the truck? They're all in cahoots together. And he's got the easy job, the driver. All he's doing is just going to the stops, just sitting there and picking the trash up, dumping it, crushing it, then take off to the next place. He's got the easy part of the job. So what's his problem? He's not saying anything. Hey, man, you know you need to put some trash in the back of this trash, in the back of this dump truck. Oh, man, just drive the damn truck. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Come on, you guys. This is ridiculous. Because you stopped the truck. You're not going to tell me he's not looking in the big old rearview mirrors, wondering where dude is with the trash. Wouldn't you be saying something? Hey, man, where's the trash? I forgot. I'm sleepy. I want to go home. Well, he best go find him a more quiet job. You need to go get him a job working from home on the internet, I believe. Okay, so that's called taking out the trash in DC. Well, I would say something, but I'm going to be quiet about taking out the trash in DC. They need to ride the dump truck on up to the big building. But seriously, that's ridiculous. And I get it. People have bad days. I totally get it. There's days you just want to scream, you want to holler, you want to cuss. And these people are picking up all type of filthy trash, going in alleyways. Because when I saw the alleyway, it was nasty looking. It was narrow, as the reporter said. It had water puddles. It probably needs to be repaved. They need to pave the alleyway again. And that's probably why he didn't want to go through the alley, because he's got to slosh around in that dirty water. As soon as I saw the alley, I said, oh, he don't want to go down the alley because of the water puddles. That's exactly what he did, was took those cans and threw them down and then jumped right back on the back of that dump truck because he didn't want to fool with the water puddles. What should happen to this person? Because I got a feeling the person probably didn't get fired. The driver didn't get fired, and the guys who are supposed to be picking up the trash, they didn't get fired. I doubt it. I'm listening to this guy speaking, and he don't sound very forceful as, we're going to handle this, we're going to take care of this. This is unacceptable. He starts off with, oh, they work so hard. They've been working in the snow and the ice. And I thought, okay, where is this conversation going? Then he wants to jump in. Oh, but it's not acceptable to be doing this. We will take care of it. Yeah, and I bet they still got their damn jobs. They probably put them on leave for a little while. Dr. Pay gave them a warning. If this happens again, if we get any more complaints, we'll have to let you go. Wow. Let me know what you think should happen to these garbage men and also the garbage drivers. Now, I've brought you some cases that they're not funny, but they're a little lighter than true crime. Well, now we're going to go into the belly of the beast with the more serious of cases. Thank you for joining me. Hope you all are well. Now we'll be having difficulty. Hold on one second, everybody. I'm trying to pull it up. Oh, I know where to go. I always have to have a backup. Sophie, don't laugh at me, honey. Just pray for me. Pray for me, girl. Pray for me. 4-part live, everybody. 4-part live. I'm buffering. That's the problem. Where I'm trying to get my content. Okay. Well, I thought I shared it. Hold on. I had a story I wanted to bring. I want to do the worst one last. Hold on. I'll pull it up. I thought I had stored it. This is about a young couple. What I'm about to read to you, I had the audio, but it was only a few seconds, so I'll go ahead and read this. This is by the New York Post. Thank you for joining me. A teenage husband fatally shot his wife before turning the gun on himself at an Alabama hospital just moments after they welcomed their first child. Kenneth Terry Jr., 19, gunned down 24-year-old Precious Johnson before fatally shooting himself inside the Baptist Health Brookwood Hospital around 9:30 p.m. Sunday. Johnson delivered a healthy baby just before she was murdered. It's not immediately clear if the baby was present during the shooting, but police said Terry and Johnson were the only ones injured. Terry's mother told the outlet that the couple were having some marital issues leading up to Johnson's due date, but nothing that made her fear her son would become violent. She told the outlet that Terry completed Army National Guard training before tying the knot with Johnson. She noted that Johnson didn't want Terry's side of the family at the hospital for her child's birth, but it's unclear if anyone from the mother-to-be's own family was there. The hospital was plunged into a lockdown out of an abundance of caution while police investigated reports of a shooting. It wasn't lifted until hours later when they determined there was no active threat to patients, team members, or the public, the outlet reported. The Homewood Police Department described the tragedy as an apparent murder-suicide and is domestic in nature. These are two African-American individuals who are no longer alive. Terry is the black male who had just completed the Army National Guard training before marrying Johnson. WVTM News is the source. Dan Howard, the president of the Alabama Hospital Association, told the outlet that the chilling attack was an isolated incident unlike anything she encountered during her 3 decades working in the state. Howard said that in the wake of the tragedy, the Baptist Health Brookwood Hospital would undergo a security overhaul implementing lessons learned from a mandated after-action report. Just 3 months ago, in a town 6 miles outside of Homewood, a beloved sports reporter was fatally shot by her husband before he took his own life. Their 3-year-old son, who was unharmed, led his grandfather to his parents' body. NewYorkPost.com is the source. My condolences and prayers to the families. What in the hell was going on with these two? Now, I know that what I'm about to say, some of you may not agree with, that is fine. I do not believe in young people marrying one another. This is the very reason why a lot of people tell their children to date only, not to get serious about another person. And yes, we know this could happen if they were 30, if they were 40. But obviously this young boy, I'm calling him a boy because I think he was still in a child's mind. He obviously has some issues. Now, I don't know what they were arguing about, what type of problems they were having. She was older than him, which I find interesting why she wanted a 19-year-old. She's 24. Why wasn't she trying to date a 25-year-old or so? Didn't hear that she had any more children, but now somebody has to raise this baby. We're talking about a newborn. We're not talking about an 8-year-old to raise. We're talking about a brand new baby that will not feel the comfort, the hugs, the love, the kisses from their parent. What in the hell was going on with these two? Why didn't she want his family there at the hospital? Did she have mental problems? Hell, looked like both of them were messed up. This is what I'm talking about. Two young folks ain't got no business making no babies or married. That's just how I feel. This is not 1950. This is not the 1900s. This is 2026. Live your best life. That is the advice I would give any damn body. I don't care how old you are. Live your life when you are young, because you will never get a do-over. You have people my age trying to relive their life. You can't go back. You cannot. God didn't design it that way. This is the very reason why young people don't need to be getting hung up on other people. because they're not mentally ready for a relationship, children, responsibility. You can raise your child to the best of your ability. You could think you're teaching him or her how to live properly, manage a checkbook, keep their room clean, clean a house, keep their bodies clean, and they can still go out here, be the filthiest little pigs, rude, obnoxious, narcissistic. It is what it is. But this is terrible. Because in my mind, when I read it earlier, I thought, my goodness, what in the hell was going on with these two? What was so bad that you're going to kill yourself in the hospital? What were they doing? Arguing? Now, I was looking on YouTube tonight, and God forgive me for where I'm getting ready to go with this. But I think one or two videos I saw, they're saying that the baby was white. So put that on Piper. Let me go in here, because this one little young guy that does YouTube, that was the video title I saw on his channel before going live. Let me try to pull it up. Hold on, everybody. Lord have mercy, Jesus. Okay, even if the baby was white, you ain't got to kill the mama. Just tell her deuces. You been cheating on me. You got a white baby. But babies come out all type of skin colors, and everybody know too, even with black babies, brown babies, they'll come out a little light, and depending on her genetics, she might have somebody in her family that's half white. The baby can come out very light, and you thinking the woman that messed around, but she ain't messed around. And they're both brown skin. He's a dark skinned black person, and she's brown skin. But we're gonna play Matt Thibodeau's video. He uploaded 3 hours ago. Matt, hope you don't mind. I'm going to play some of your content. See what you're talking about.
On Sunday, March 1st, 2026, a tragic incident took place at the Women's Medical Center of Baptist Health Brookwood Hospital in Homewood, Alabama. 24-year-old Precious Alicia Janae Johnson of Birmingham was killed in what authorities are calling an apparent murder. Police responded to this hospital around 9:25 p.m. after reports were made of gunfire. When authorities arrived on scene, they found Precious along with 19-year-old Kenneth Williams Terry Jr. of Middlefield, both dead from GSW. No one else was harmed. It was confirmed that Precious was a patient at this hospital at the time of the incident. The Jefferson County Coroner's Office confirmed that Precious suffered multiple GSWs and was pronounced dead at the scene, while Kenneth suffered just one fatal self-inflicted GSW. Officials have stated that this incident appears to have stemmed from a domestic dispute between this couple, though the exact circumstances are still under investigation. Kenneth's mom recently spoke out and stated that Precious had recently given birth to her and Kenneth's baby. The two were married and they were having marital issues, and Precious did not want Kenneth at the hospital nor his family at the hospital after she had given birth. She said that she knew Kenneth was upset, but she had no idea that he could be capable of doing something like this. The hospital has stated that they are fully cooperating with authorities and that moving forward they are going to work on security measures that could be put into place to prevent weapons like this from being brought into the hospital. On Sunday, March 1st, 2020.
Okay, so he don't have the T. Thank you, Matt. We'll have to go to the black folks table. Let's see. Oh, that's in Detroit. Well, maybe that's not it. I don't know why I kept thinking it was somebody, a white baby. That was another story. I apologize. Well, what happened? I don't see any other content, so nobody really knows what happened. That was 8 months ago. I'm sorry. Let's see. Oh, man, what's going on? Give me your thoughts out there. Give me your thoughts. What happened to this couple? Why didn't you want him at the hospital? She didn't want him or his family there. Why not? And here's another story from 8 months ago. After giving birth, wife unalived. What a way! After giving birth, wife unalived her husband in the maternity ward. Good Lord, and you just gave birth and you. Well, I'm done. Woo, Satan is real. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if anybody had the tea on why this happened. Sophie said human brain doesn't fully develop until age 25. Yeah, I don't know about that either. Not after the way these people act out here. And you might want to change that number. You might want to change that number. You know, what's wrong with folks? We all can be immature at times. I want to know what happened. What was the problem? What was the problem? What type of problems were they having? Curious. Infidelity? Somebody cheating? Was one of them cheating on the other one? What happened? What happened? He said 50. And you know people are still immature at 50. Girl, you better stop it. You better stop it. You better stop it. I'm trying to see if somebody gives a reason why he did it. Jeez. One day ago. And they're talking about raising the security. Like what? You're going to have what? Those machines in the hospital that you got to go through like you do when you go to the courthouse? So you can't bring a weapon in the hospital? This is what we need to know. Did he have the weapon on him when he walked in the hospital? Did he deliberately go to the hospital to unalive himself and her? Or they had words and then he went maybe to his car and doubled back and came back in with a weapon. Which is it? So what is he like? His temperament? Had he been depressed? Is he the emotional type person to where he cries when he gets upset, or he stomps or he screams? Was their relationship physical? What was really going on between this young couple? 19 years old, you're going to end your life at 19. You're just starting out. This is crazy to me. Just starting out. I can't understand this I don't understand this. 19 years old. Unaliving yourself should be the last thing you're thinking about. No way, Jose.
Was shot and killed by her husband, who then took his own life. It all happened in Brookwood Hospital less than 24 hours ago. The Jefferson County Coroner's report says Precious Johnson was shot multiple times. Authorities say she was a patient at the hospital. Family members say the 24-year-old had just had a baby with her husband, 19-year-old Kenneth Terry Jr. According to the coroner, Terry died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Homewood police think the hospital shooting was a domestic-related murder-suicide. WVTM 13's Lisa Crane joins us live and local from Brookwood Hospital. Lisa, you spoke with family members in the Alabama Hospital Association today. What have you learned?
Well, I did speak with Terry's mother today. As you can imagine, she is devastated. She did not want to speak on camera, but she told me she just can't understand what happened. She said this young couple was having some marital problems, and Precious Johnson did not want Terry's family at the hospital when she delivered the baby, but she still can't comprehend that her son could be violent. 19-year-old Kenneth Terry had a lot going on in his life. His mother tells me he had finished Army National Guard boot camp, had married 24-year-old Precious Johnson, and they were expecting a baby. But Sunday night, after Johnson delivered her baby, authorities say Terry shot her several times and then turn the gun on itself.
I think it's a sad, but this was an isolated incident. And I will say, in my 30 years of working at the Hospital Association and representing our hospitals in the state, this is the first time something has occurred like this.
Because of this tragic incident, Howard says we could see changes to security protocol at hospitals like Baptist Health Brookwood. I wanted to get an idea of the security there. Less than a day after the shootings, I walked through the labor and delivery unit unchecked.
Hospitals always do after action reports
and you have time to get the machine.
What are the lessons learned, what worked well, what might need to be refined. And in doing that, it's not uncommon for the Hospital Association to pull together all of our hospitals to share information and best practices and what worked and what didn't work and what might need to be revisited.
Now, I reached out to leaders here at the hospital, and they did not want to speak on camera or address specific questions about security. Howard says there are no security mandates in Alabama for hospitals here, but she says, of course, that could change, and there will be a lot to learn from this incident. Live in Homewood, Lisa Cray, WBTM 13.
Lisa, thanks. Is reacting to what she says is an active investigation, saying police acted quickly to secure the scene and ensure there was no ongoing threat to the public. She says her thoughts are with the victim, her family, hospital staff, and everyone affected. Andrews says the city is working closely with hospital leadership and will provide updates as appropriate.
Well, what happened? I want somebody to give me the tea. Just happened, so I guess nobody has the tea yet. Homewood Fire Department, Homewood, Alabama, everybody. 30 years, she's never seen anything like this. Hospital administrator. Kenneth William Terry Jr. Lord have mercy. Tell us what's going on. Kenneth, why did you do this? Why did you unalive Precious Johnson and yourself? Was she a hellraiser? Like that? Wild out, talk crazy, curse people out, get mad. He's more of a docile type male. Like I say, maybe he's a more emotional type creature. Wasn't the type to argue, fuss. He felt overwhelmed. Maybe he was really in love with this girl and he just couldn't take it anymore and just felt like, I don't see a way out. I don't see this being a better solution. But see, this is what you have to tell yourself. Sometimes you have to walk away and let the chips fall where they fall. I beg your pardon. Felix, and I'm Lucia's son. I don't know what you're saying, honey. This is why I say that I don't condone young people marrying one another. Marrying one another, having children, no. I get it. Back in the day, it was expected. You're young, you get married, you can live and still be a young person with your children grown, and you can watch them walk across the stage. But guess what? It ends up being repetitious. You have your kid young, more than likely they end up having their kid young. And then it's the next one, they're having their kid young. And everybody's young. Grandma is young, 50-something years old. Young grandma. Oh, Lord, I got time for this. Obviously, somebody could not deal with their emotions. He could not deal with his emotions. And this is sad to me. But sometimes these people, men and women, get wrapped up into a person and they can't see past the place they're in with them. I don't want to deal with this no more. I don't want them with anybody else. Maybe that's what he thought. She didn't want to be with him. She had his baby, but maybe she told him she didn't want to be with him. I don't know. As I said, maybe he just did not know how to deal with his emotions. It's obvious he didn't. To be 19 years old and unaliving yourself because somebody tells you they don't want you at the hospital, or maybe he felt like she wasn't going to have him around or let him see the kid. And my thing is, you know, she was going to end up asking for child support, so you have rights too. You just go to court and stand your ground. But if he was getting ready to be, you know, doing military things, that possibly would be a hindrance. This is bad. The mother says she didn't think he would do this. He wasn't violent. So I'm assuming she's saying he was not a violent person. Well, he is violent. He was violent. Checkmate. That's why I always tell people, what do I always tell you all? What is Queen's favorite line on this network? You do not know people. You can never say what a person would and would not do. Oh, he would never do that. No, 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 no. She would never. No, she would not. No, she would not do that. I just saw a story. I shared it on my community page where they just arrested this elderly lady who dumped a baby, I guess, in a trash can back in 1977. And now she's getting ready to stand trial for MURDR. Can you believe that? And you know how they found her? Good old DNA. Good old DNA. How about that? She's gone on with her life, moved on. Don't know if she ever told anybody that she was pregnant, because she would have been in her early 20s, probably 22, when she gave birth. So I don't know if the baby was stillborn, stopped breathing, what. But the baby was found, I believe, in a dump site, landfill. And all those years, they're wondering who gave birth to this baby. And this lady's gone on, moved on with her life. I want you to think about that. And now she's an older person, going to have to go to trial. If she knows what's best for her, she needs to talk to the district attorney and ask for a plea, house arrest. Just say, I'm an elderly person, I made a mistake. Hell, lie. People lie all the damn time. Just tell a damn lie. Because that's what she's going to do anyway. She ain't going to tell you, oh, yeah, the baby came out and I suffocated the baby because I didn't want it. She'll just say, oh, I was young and the baby came out and I didn't know what was going on. I didn't even know I was pregnant. I didn't know what to do. And then the baby wasn't breathing. I panicked. Who's going to tell it? Whose version do you have? She's going to be the only one to give you a version. And she's not going to tell you she unalived her kid. She ain't going to tell you the baby whimpered, cried, or nothing. She's going to say, it wasn't moving. It wasn't moving. That's the worst they can charge you with, is abuse of a corpse. And as you see, as I brought you information pertaining to the Celeste Rivas case, California, they don't give no stiff charges on abuse of a corpse. It's a misdemeanor. Shut your mouth. Wow, wow, wow. Now to one of my worst stories that I saved for last. If we get a few more people in, we can also talk about the Daily interview pertaining to Nancy Guthrie. I did not want to let that be the headline because I've talked about that case enough to where my head spins. But we can talk about that interview between the mother and the son, because I have reservations about the mother. She seemed very naive to me, which is quite scary for her to be almost 80 years old. But Linda, you're in the chat. You thought, what? She sounded believable. What do they tell you? Trust no one. Because somebody's lied already pertaining to those two. One interview, she met Nancy and Savannah at a store out and about years ago. But then this interview with this girl, Brianna, she asked her, do you know her? Have you ever met Nancy? She tells her no. So why would the lawyer say they've met before? See, this is why I didn't want to talk about them. Nancy, because every time somebody opens their mouth and says anything about Nancy Guthrie, they cannot tell the truth. And I've just had about enough of this case. 4 weeks of bullshit. This to me is no different than any of the cases I've ever talked about. I don't think I've talked about one case. Yeah, I can think of 2 cases I've talked about where the people act civilized, the parents. That was the boy found in the river up there in Nashville that fell over. I guess he was intoxicated. And then the young boy out in Texas who fell down in the manhole. The only people that parents and stuff and the people act like they have some damn sense. These other cases, I don't know, brings out the worst. The people just act like they ain't got no sense. And it's awful when the law enforcement acts as stupid as the bloggers and the people in the chat talking crazy with wild ass stories. Oh, the Martians came down and they took him up to Mars and he stayed up there a while. And just some crazy stuff, just like the strategic said. Some people, I believe, just don't have no empathy. So you just say anything. When sometimes I think a lot of you forget these are people who are possibly dead or dead. So you do need to show some respect for these missing people. All righty. Last but not least, God help us. God help us. Jesus help us. So we talked about the dirty garbage man not wanting to empty the garbage in Washington, D.C. We were over in Virginia where someone threw away U.S. mail in a garbage can. Then I took you down to Alabama where a young couple were unalive. Murder-suicide. The woman just gave birth to a baby. And now we're going to go to Cleveland, Ohio to hear the worst scenario pertaining to children. Thank you. God bless these souls, whoever they are, and may justice come swift for the MF that took these babies' lives. Lord have mercy, Jesus.
Okay, great, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Just after 6 p.m. last night, the Division of Police received a call to respond to the area of East 162nd in Midland. The callers stated they had found what appeared to be a body inside of a suitcase at this location. The officers responded out and located the deceased individual that was in a shallow grave inside of a suitcase. The officers immediately began their investigation as they canvassed the area for any potential evidence on scene. The officers located what appeared to be a second shallow grave, and they could tell that there was a second suitcase in that location. The officers at that time identified that there was a body inside of that second suitcase as well. The medical examiner's office responded out, and they took custody of the individuals and for their further investigation. So we completed our investigation on scene. The only updates we have at this time are that the individuals are 2 juvenile black females. The one individual is suspected to be anywhere between the ages of 8.5 to 13. The second is estimated to be of the age of 10.5 to 14. At this time, there are no clear indicators of the cause of death of the 2 young females. And we're asking if anyone has any information, saw anything suspicious in the area, that they are to contact the Cleveland Division of Police Homicide Unit at 216-623-5464. We will be operating that line 24 hours a day, so someone will be available to answer those calls. Or they can call Crime Stoppers at 216-252-7463. At this time, we don't know how long the juveniles have been at this location. It was some time, so it's not just something that was recent. The investigation is ongoing. We have to wait for results from the medical examiner, and from there,
we should have an update once we have further information. So if you have any questions, we'll open it up.
The bodies discovered.
No.
And approximately how big are these suitcases if you were to...
I'm not going to give that information right now. So the only thing I do ask is if somebody saw something that was suspicious involving something that sounds familiar, I don't want to give certain information out that could tamper the investigation.
Were the two victims related?
No, we don't have any identification of either of the victims at this time.
Are
Do you have any suspects?
No.
Are there missing persons, missing children that match the two girls that were found?
So it's a good question. We have checked our, locally, we have no reports of any missing children that match these identifications. We are checking statewide as well. We also have the assistance from our federal, state, and local partners. This is a priority. This is a traumatic event for our officers, for the community. And, this is just such a tragic incident. But we're trying to develop any leads we can. That's why we're also asking for the community's help.
I know in last night's press release, you said that the department said there's no ongoing threat to the public. What leads investigators to come to that conclusion?
When we say that, it's more, we know that this didn't just happen. We still have to develop exactly when this happened, and we don't have any indication that there's a clear threat to safety.
Can you give any sort of update on the condition of the bodies? I know you said it's been some time. This isn't something that just happened, but any sort of...
So right now, the only thing we can say, there's no clear indicators. So there's nothing that's visible enough to determine what the cause of death was.
We had heard, Chief, that perhaps these children were malnourished. Is that something that you heard as well?
I don't have a comment on that. I would defer to the medical examiner once their results come out.
Were the individuals clothed?
I will also defer to the medical examiner on that.
Oh, my Lord.
This time.
Was there any identification inside the suitcase or a name on a shirt, like a kid's shirt, or anything that would lead you to...
Unfortunately, we have no indicators right now of the identity of the children involved.
Should we believe that they're local, or do we not know that
We
either?
can't even determine that at this time.
Can you kind of describe that neighborhood to us? There often foot traffic in that area?
Yeah, so the caller in this incident was just a resident from the area who was walking their dog through the area. This is a field close to the school over there. This is just a residential neighborhood that I'm sure a lot of people do frequent. The weather has been, changing recently. The snow's been thawing, so it's really hard to determine the length of time at this point.
There are some businesses around there with cameras that appear to be pointing. I don't know how far they go, but have you been gathering some of that evidence?
Yeah, so our detectives have been out there actively walking the neighborhoods and gathering the information. The difficult part is that timeline. How far you have to look back, and a lot of cameras don't capture historical data. So we are currently still canvassing for that. So if someone has cameras and they want to, just do a cursory review to see if they have anything suspicious, we please let us know and give us a call.
For anyone watching this story, you want people to come forward who may have seen something suspicious. What are some things that, should set off an alarm and they should contact you about?
Anything that you see that's out of the ordinary. Did you see anyone spending a significant amount of time in that area? Someone who seems out of sorts to your neighborhood. Usually in residential areas, what's happening in your neighborhood. Something just seems a little bit off. That's why.
Did you see somebody digging a hole, putting a suitcase in it? How about that? Make this make sense, everybody? How long has the snow been there? How long has the snow been there? How do the children look? 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, more than a month? Where'd they get the malnourished part? Somebody slipped that up. Somebody slipped that up, and the reporter got wind of that the children look awfully frail in the suitcase. Now, were they wrapped in the suitcase or they were just stuffed in the suitcase? Help me understand how you put 2 suitcases with children in them in a shallow damn grave near a school and not be seen putting the suitcases in the damn dirt. This is what kills me about people. People see everything going on that's none of their damn business. But when it comes to homicide, nobody sees anything. Oh, the cameras don't work over there. Oh, they weren't turned on. Oh, they weren't pointed in that direction. Oh, I was asleep. Make it make sense. We're not talking about suitcases thrown out in rural America somewhere off a dirt road. We're talking about near a school, near a damn fence. This is ridiculous. In the city at that, wide damn open. Do these kids live near that school? Do these kids go to that school? What is it, an elementary school, a high school, middle school? What is it? Are these children from Cleveland, Ohio? Who's missing 2 children? Oh, yeah, that part.
We're asking that anyone who has anything that they believe to be information directly related to or suspicious, that they give us a call.
Chief, we had heard that the FBI and perhaps U.S. Marshals were out searching yesterday. Does that search have anything to do with these missing individuals?
No, it's not connected.
Thank
Are you working with any other agencies in this? Maybe FBI, maybe National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, things like that?
We are working with all of our federal, state, and local partners. From Department of Children and Family Services to CMSD to the FBI. This is a priority investigation.
As far as your knowledge, have you had any other cases here locally similar to this one? Children were found in suitcases or missing people or like anything like this before?
Not that I'm aware of.
Chief, can you describe, when it involves children, I mean, it takes this crime to another level.
It does.
Can you talk about that?
So when you look at that, you have an individual who's a resident who locates it, the trauma that happens right there. And, at the end of the day, our officers are just regular people and their parents. And, it's something that a lot of officers never have to experience. We hope they would never have to experience. And it's traumatic for everyone. And it's traumatic just for those who live in the area to know that this was right there outside their doorstep.
Should people be on heightened alert in and around this area?
I think all residents should always be cautious to the ongoings of their neighborhoods. Just, keeping alert for anything that is suspicious and always reporting it. We can't do police work alone. It takes the community to be a part of that, to call us, to let us know if something in their neighborhood is suspicious that needs, something for us to take a further look at.
Have you been in contact with, CMSD, local schools, things like that, working with their
We're
principals?
working with everybody. Yeah.
Can I ask, when you say you don't want to give away too many details, but a random suitcase, perhaps?
I appreciate the question, but because of the integrity of the investigation, I just can't give those specifics at this time. And as soon as we develop more leads or we have additional information, we will keep you updated. As soon as, the coroner's office has more for us, we will keep you updated on that information. We just want to, the most important thing is misinformation gets out there quickly. And we want to clarify exactly what we know at this time. The delay in, us giving the update is because this is it's a sensitive investigation and there wasn't a lot to go on at this point. So we want to give you as much factual information that we have as soon as we could.
Are there any solid leads right now?
No.
Can I ask, and you may not be able to give it, but can you classify how badly decomposed these bodies were? Was it a great amount? Obviously, that's going to impact the investigation.
Well, I'm going to leave it to the coroner's determination because they take custody of the bodies and, they're doing their review right now. So they will probably provide that update when they're complete.
So, Chief, what is your next steps?
As far as
where do you go from here? What will you do shortly after this news conference?
So I can tell you that we're establishing a 24-hour response line. Our investigators, not just on this investigation, but on many, they spend countless days, nights, hours, whatever it takes, sleepless nights on this investigation. We are working with all of our partners. We are looking at, we're canvassing, we're talking to people, and the best thing is to find answers. That's it's just terrible, horrific situation.
Yes, it is.
Do you have any idea how long it'll take the medical examiner's office?
We don't. I don't want to talk about their timelines, but hopefully we'll have something soon.
When do you anticipate the next update?
As soon as we have something more. We want to make sure that we keep the community updated, but I'm giving you what we have right now. So as soon as we have something further, but again, I encourage anyone, if they saw anything suspicious, if they know anything related to kids that are missing, that they please call us. And that's the most important thing. 216-623-5464. Someone will be responding to that line 24 hours.
Anything else you may want to add? We may have missed or you want to emphasize?
No, I just, the biggest thing is getting the accurate information out as quickly as we can. That's the most important thing, is making sure that, to honor these young people, making sure the right stories out there. So thank you very much.
All right, everybody. How terrible, sorry about that. How terrible, horrific, worst words you can come up with. Just looking at the comments. I'm so impressed by this chief of police. She presented the information and answered the questions in such an intelligent, calm, respectful, and compassionate manner. Yes, she's not like that thing out there in Arizona. Shut your mouth. Agree. There are so many useless chiefs. Nice to have an exception. Yes. Weigh in, everybody. Weigh in, Linda. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. This is crazy to me. Well, ask all the questions, Queen. Who are the children? Who was taking care of the children? Are the children related? Were the children living in a house with other children? Where is the person who was taking care of these kids? Where are they now? Are they in Cleveland living their best life, hooping it up? I can't see these kids coming from somewhere else and being buried in the inner city. No, I don't see that. No. These kids live right there in Cleveland. And somebody knows somebody who has some children you have not seen. So anybody that knows somebody that had two girls and you have not seen those two girls, you need to be knocking on the FBI's door. Checkmate. The school, you haven't seen two little girls in your school system for a while, whatever a while is. You need to be calling the FBI as well. Somebody knows something. The fact that they were put in suitcases, that's personal. Because I think most of you know a serial killer is not getting ready to go out and buy a suitcase to put you inside of it. Suitcases are what is readily available in a home. That's why they're used by people who know the victim. Come on with it, Queen. So this is probably a parent, guardian, foster parent, who has gotten rid of these two kids. They possibly were malnourished. That's why they got rid of them, because they were too low weight. Can't take them outside, can't do nothing with them because people are going to start talking. Oh my goodness, she's awfully frail. And then here comes DHS. Here comes investigation. Here comes somebody saying, I have to remove your children. You've been starving them. Then here comes probably welfare fraud. And that's probably what's going on. I bet you somebody's still getting something for these kids. Food stamps, something. You'd be surprised what people will unalive a child just to get food stamps. Shut your mouth. damn. How long were the children buried? Yes. Took the words right out of my mouth. Excuse me, I was eating some candy. Although the suitcases have been buried and in the snow, you stick your hands down in the pockets and hopefully law enforcement can get fingerprints from inside of the suitcase and in the pockets. Oh my goodness gracious. What was going on with the family? Just cruel, evil, didn't want the girls? One thing for sure, you can't tell a police officer, detective, judge, you accidentally starved 2 kids. Come on with it, Queen. Well, what happened? Oh, I just starved both of my kids accidentally. You know, because some fool out here will believe that. Some ignorant fool would say, oh, they didn't have any groceries. Yeah, well, we've seen cases of that where they had food. Parents were hiding the food in other rooms, padlocking the refrigerator, only giving the child a piece of dry bread or cracker, can of soup. Is that what was happening to these children? They were starved deliberately. Probably so, because the fact that reporter asked, somebody slipped that up. Somebody working in the police department, when they opened that suitcase, they saw what they looked like in there. They knew they weren't at a normal weight. They had not been at a normal weight. This is pathetic. But this is the world that we live in. And this is what amazes me about true crime. Just as quick as you're talking about one crazy story, there's another one the same day, then the next day, then the next day. And then when the people end up getting arrested, go to court, you're telling yourself, I know somebody's listening to this story and they're not going to do what this person did because they don't want to go to prison. They don't want to get the death penalty. And yet you'll still hear somebody do something foolish such as this. Abuse a kid and then murder them. Why? I just don't understand it. You didn't want the kids. All you had to do was turn them over to the state. It's life. People do it every day. Turn them over to the state. Then instead you wanted to starve the children. Let me guess, they were unruly. The children were unruly. Hello, Brooke. Hello, T. Conky. The children were unruly. You know, we hear all these stupid excuses. And then you know what's even more disturbing is that there's other people that know that children are being mistreated and they'll never say anything. They wait until the children end up unalive, starved, hanging on, barely living in, on oxygen and, the ICU. And then they want to go talk to the news. And I knew, and I had been hearing stories, and I knew it didn't look right. I don't want to hear nothing from you. Because I'm tired of that too. Kind of like this Nancy Guthrie story. Somebody knows something. And I get tired of you people waiting until the witching hour to decide you want to talk to the news. Missing teeth, hair missing, you're looking a mess, standing there in the doorway with your stinky robe on, trying to spin a story about what you saw, what you noticed. Well, you should have called DHS, you should have called the police. I've told you all before, call the police because that gets the ball rolling quicker than dialing a 1-800 number, trying to explain what you saw, what you heard. And naturally, certain situations, the people are going to know you called because you have to be descriptive when you say, it's a white boy, he's 6, he's got blonde hair, blue eyes. Then they're going to ask you, how you know him? What's his full name? What's his mama's name? Oh, man. Damn. This pisses me off. 2 babies, once again, didn't get to live a full life. All because they were in the wrong hands. And once again, they didn't ask to be here. They didn't choose their parents. I said they probably had a horrible life. Because if they were indeed starved, they had a very horrible life. Because a lot of people don't know what happens to the body when you are without food. It is not a pretty sight from what I've been told. Your organs start to fail. And you're actually in pain because you don't have any food in your belly. Thank you, sweetheart. See something, say something. Amen. You know what it's like when you get the munchies and you're hungry. You get stomach pains. Well, imagine going days and days and days and days and weeks, no food, no water. Not even an apple, a banana. Can't imagine. I don't want to imagine. We take for granted the little things, do we not? Warm bed, nice place to live. Maybe not the best place to live, but it's still a place to live. Food in the refrigerator. A little bit of money in the bank. Go buy your new coat, new shoes. You want to go eat out tonight? Go to Ruth Chris. Spend up all your money for a steak. You can. Somebody's wishing they could have a steak. Piece of steak, piece of potato. All they can do is dream. My. Whoever you are, they're going to find you, honey. Because I know you know those kids personally. And they say they have not heard that any children are missing. Nobody's reported any girls missing. So we can debunk a serial killer or a pedophile out here picking up little girls. That's somebody that knows them that put them in them damn suitcases. Mommy, you got rid of your babies. You got tired of them, huh? Got tired of feeding them. So what were you doing? Crack cocaine, fentanyl, heroin, chasing a man? What excuse you gonna give the judge? I can't wait to hear it. You must know Kelly Bryant from Pontiac, Michigan. She left her kids to fend for themselves in a nasty townhouse. Yeah. You little ghetto ass heifers, y'all kill me. Y'all can get all on Facebook with your fake ass eyelashes and your baby hair and your lace front wigs and posing half naked. But you don't want to feed them kids, don't want to take care of them, don't want to be bothered. Well, keep your legs closed, Cookie. How about that? Guess what? The secret's out. Keeping your legs closed is free. You don't even have to pay to keep your legs closed. Shut your mouth. You just keep your legs closed. And you ain't got to worry about no bambina 9 months later. Keep your legs closed. But I tell you something else that I'm sick of. You just keep having one after the other, one after the other, one after the other, and steady complaining and moaning about a baby daddy, and you can't feed him. You need a babysitter. You can't do this. You need daycare. Well, boo-boo, keep your legs closed. Because guess what? In this state, guess what? Ain't nobody putting no babies in daycare. Trump to make sure that y'all ain't getting ready to get nobody on no welfare about your children. It's on the website. Your baby need daycare, you shit out of luck in Tennessee. Also, corporation that helps feed people here in our area with Second Harvest, the government is not giving them anymore, ain't giving nobody no more money to help the poor and working class people that need food. Oh yeah, it's about to get serious out here. Oh, shall I say it is serious. No more free canned goods. No more nothing. Folks be 2 minutes from eating out of garbage cans. That'd be the new thing. Dumpster diving. It's the world we're in. Crucial. Going to war with Iran. Crazy nuts shooting folks at a bar in Texas, Austin. Young people out enjoying themselves. Folks breaking in houses with 84-year-olds because they don't got nothing better to do. This is the world that we are living in. Can't do nothing, can't go nowhere. I'm just saying that today. I said, you can't go nowhere. You can't go to school, can't go to church, can't go to university, can't go to middle school, elementary school, can't go to the bar, can't go to the club, can't go to the pool hall, can't go to a concert, can't sit outside, can't go to the park, can't go to the movies, can't go to the mall, can't do nothing. That's right, but money for war, exactly. God don't like ugly. This country is getting uglier and uglier by the minute. We gotta learn how to treat each other better. And everything is so just warped. I was thinking that today. I got frustrated doing some stuff online. I had to do some stuff online, and I get so sick of somebody asking me for a fucking username and password. I'm sick of that shit. I actually start hyperventilating. That's just me. Going round and round and round and round. And we sent you a code. We sent you a verification. Check your email. Fuck that email. I'd rather you just send me my information and I send it through the U.S. mail. Hell. I get like that sometimes. I get frustrated. Because there's a lot of things about the world, this new, all this email shit. I get sick of it. People be talking about all the time. Did you see your email? Did you check the email? No, I don't sit and look at the computer and the phone looking at emails. Not that important. Don't care. There's some things that's good with the modern technology, but then there's certain things like that. The portal, everybody has a portal. Every doctor, he wants to know, do you have a portal? You want a portal? Then you send me a message, text message. You want to let the portal, open the portal. You open the damn portal. Open the hole and let me crawl in. I'm sick of it. I'm just a laid back type of lady, Give me some good music, nice flat screen, a little tidy, clean environment to sleep in, a little perfume, bath splash. I'm good to go. I don't ask for much. I don't get attached to stuff. Most people know, that have followed me for years, know Queen don't keep nothing. She can go buy something today. She won't have it next week because she just like that. That's why I don't care about none of this stuff. Some of you'll break your neck. That phone cut off, the email, the Wi-Fi, all that. I look at life like this. Well, there was a time when I didn't have it. I could tell you now, if I wasn't doing YouTube, it wouldn't even matter. And now God has blessed me to where I really don't even have to sit up here and do the videos no more and waste my damn time. Because God knew. He said, Queen, you tired. You're making videos for absolutely nothing. You're not making any money off of it. You're not doing nothing really. So I'm going to make it possible where you don't have to go live every day. Now, it's the truth about when they say you talk to God and ask him to make a way, he'll make a way. He'll make a way out of no way. As the old black folks say, he heard my cry, and he did. So I don't have to rush and get up and go live. For what? This machine is so stupid. Now, I'm not showing myself on the StreamYard because I don't feel like it. But if I go live and show myself via the YouTube app, I get more views. Make it make sense. My shorts get more views than my actual live streams. That's because people don't have to sit and listen at you whine and whine and whine for 1 hour. I get it. We live in a world where they only want you to talk for 15 seconds. Next. Next short, next short, next short. It's the kind of world we're in. Thank you. Yes, God is good. Hey, Trish. We live in a crazy world. I got 20 people watching. Hell, that's good too. Let's talk this other crazy nonsense that I'm going to check out of here. Luke and Mary Daly have decided to give an interview about this Nancy Guthrie business. I tried to pay attention yesterday very intently to both the mother and son talking to the news. Obviously, Luke was nervous, but I have a problem with his commentary. And I just said in the last live that you reporters have got to stop leaving stuff open-ended. Make people sweat in the interview. Oh, yeah, Princess, yeah. Peaceful and quiet. Right, time to detox. Exactly. You reporters have got to know how to make people sweat during an interview. That's how you get to the truth. You never let a statement stay open-ended. When Luke told you he got arrested last year with some girl, but he didn't know her, you knew when you sat there, Brianna, that didn't make no damn sense. So you should have said, I don't understand what you're saying, sir. Clarify. Make them say it. Hello, Raven girl. How you doing? That's what you should have said. See, I'm going to tell you how you get down to business. It's time for all of you reporters to start, as my daddy used to say, treat them like a trick. Nanos, anybody involved in this case, you grill them like they getting ready to join the damn army. What do you mean you got arrested last year? What did you get arrested for, if you don't mind me asking? And then he has to say, well, I prefer not to tell us. And then you quip back, why not? I thought we were being transparent. See, that's how you get to the bottom of the story. Because, see, this is what Luke is trying to tell us. What happened in my past don't got nothing to do with Nancy Guthrie. What happened last year don't got nothing to do with Nancy Guthrie. But see, Queen has lived 55 years. She knows people. If I don't know nothing else, I know a two-legged creature. Now, what I'm about to say, don't get offended. It's just Queen keeping it real. You've been off of drugs 2 years. I already know you didn't relapse. Because the profile from the FBI says the perpetrator is going to be living with his mama or his auntie. Come on with it. You live with your mama, and you too damn old to be living with your mama. And that damn Carlos over there in Rio, he lived with his wife's mom and daddy. Come on with it, Queen. I'm woke. I'm perking on up now. And the mama said in the interview, I'm glad he's here. How you glad he's here when you went and stayed with the other son? And that's another thing, Brianna. You supposed to ask the mother and the brother, well, where is your brother at? Where does he live? He was in a car with you or wherever he was. Do he stay here in Tucson or do he stay in Fresno, California, Phoenix? Where the hell him stay? Thank you, baby. See, you don't leave nothing open-ended. You reporters, y'all got to get on top of y'all game. There's an 84-year-old woman missing. Don't leave a stone unturned. You let him close that door quick. Oh, I got arrested last year, but I don't know her. Y'all going on rumors. No, FBI ain't going on no rumors about you and that girl. Your phone pinged over there near Nancy's house because we now know you live over there by Nancy. But I want to know what the fuck you did a year ago. Come on with it. What did you get arrested for last year? This girl you talking about who you was mumbling, didn't give her name. Why? I want to know who is she to you? What y'all been doing? Somebody said y'all was dating. Now all of a sudden in this interview, you don't know her. Huh. Okay. Well now. I don't know her. See, I know you must know something about her because you was too quick to shut it down by saying, I got arrested. What, you trying to say she was there, but you don't know her? That don't even make no sense. What you saying? Unless I misinterpreted that. I apologize. Now, let's go to your mama. Mother, may I? Ma'am, I don't know if you just naive for 77, but I find it very strange you didn't get crunk like an old black lady when the feds came to your door. Yeah. Hello, Trish. Why didn't you get crunk, lady? What the hell are you doing in my house? Why are you here? Man, we have a warrant to search your house. No. Why are you here? What did you say in the interview? Well, I assume it had something to do with Nancy Guthrie. Make that make sense. Same thing he thought when he got pulled over in the Range Rover. He said they were following him. He thought they were following him. So it's amazing how both of y'all assumed that you're getting pulled over and your house raided because of Nancy Guthrie. Interesting. Now, one can say, now, Queen, that's not a big deal because the police and sheriff have been over there in the neighborhood. They just naturally assume. I don't give a damn what the sheriff and the FBI was doing in my neighborhood. What are you doing at my house? Oh, yeah, Beverly Woke. What are you doing at my house? I would have told the sheriff or the deputy or PI or whoever, FBI, TTI, hold on, homeboy. I want to see this warrant. I want to read it. Read it to me. I'm an old lady. You done went in there and flipped the woman's house upside down. She done got scared. She done went next door. Then she done went up to Phoenix. Then she came back. She told the girl, the reporter, oh, I'm glad to be back. Queen was sitting here looking like, okay, wait a minute. Maybe I need to start smoking dope. What the hell am I listening to? Oh, you missed your house. Is that what you're trying to say? You miss home. When I think of home, I think of a place. Stop it, Angela. Okay, I'm going to behave. Stop it, Beverly. Bad hostess. Oh, I know my son didn't do it. I know he don't know nobody that did it. Are you sure? I'm just saying. She was too calm for me and too green. Now, maybe that's our personality. She don't really get hyped. She don't really get excited about anything. But she could have had a stroke or heart attack. 77. You rushing all up in her house. Like she said, if I hadn't opened the door, they would have just tore it off. By golly, I believe you're right. You would have need a whole new door. Excuse me. Bonnie says, but for him to think right off the bat that he must be pulled over because of Nancy. I know, Bonnie. You know, Bonnie, people think we slow out here, girl. You know, my daddy, God rest his soul. He's given Queen some good advice over those years, you know, when he was living. He said, just let them talk. Let people talk. They'll tell on themselves. He and his mother talking as if they are one human being. Mm-hmm. Sure, you can search my house. I don't mind anything to help, but I don't think you'll find anything in here. There's nothing in here pertaining to Nancy Guthrie. That's the attitude you should have had when you first seen them knocking at the door. The hell you want? I'm telling you, white folks, y'all got to start getting some black folks in you sometime. Come on, y'all know how Queen is. God knows I live in the South, and these white folks, they act black where I stay. I swear, sometimes I hear the white people talking, I be saying, where the hell you from? Where you from? You either from Florida, Alabama, Louisiana, or somewhere near Memphis. Shut your mouth. I know some white folk get crunk real quick. You ain't coming up in here. By God, you ain't coming up in here. Hey, I know some places in Tennessee, as this one white man said, he worked with this housing agency. He was so sweet. He said, girl, there's places I'm scared to go, and I'm white. Shut your mouth. You damn right. Up there near Brushy, Roane County, hell no. I wouldn't take a dog back up and through there. And you know Queen had been back up in there playing I Spy, trying to bring you all a story, and I was shaking the whole damn time. Because I said, anybody jump out, start running across this street, we getting ready to jump in this car so fast, I'm going to run your ass over. But this is what I do for my fans. But they're right. Still need to be careful. Mary, talk to Queen. You too cool, calm, collected. You kind of scared me. Because, see, this is what Queen gonna do. Queen getting ready to show you how the devil works. Exactly, Ben Hill. You see, nothing good can come from something evil. Very rare, okay? And this story about Nancy is just spinning and spinning and spinning itself to where it's now becoming clown show with YouTubers, TikTokers, made up stories, lies, manipulation. And Queen caught somebody lying. So let me elaborate. Your lawyer told Brian Enton in an interview that you met Nancy and Savannah, Mrs. Mary. But when you talked to Brianna, she asked you point blank, have you ever met Nancy Guthrie? You told her no. So why would your lawyer tell Brian Enton you have met Nancy Guthrie? I'm woke. Mary, what is going on? As they say, loose lips sink ships. So why would the lawyer say one thing and then you told that girl in that interview something else? Have you met Nancy or not? Did you know that Nancy lived around the corner or not? Did you know she had a famous daughter or not? What does your son do for a living? I find it strange the interviewer didn't ask him, well, what do you do for a living? Shit, I would have ate him up. I would have ate him up. When I got through with him, baby, he would have come up out that tie and that shirt. And I'm gonna tell you something else I noticed too about Mr. Luke, you awfully broad up top, kind of like the person in that damn video standing outside of Nancy's doorstep. Oh yeah, I watched all of that because I remember when the person turned around to step off the step, I said, whoa, he got a wide back. And then when I saw you sitting there in that chair, I said, whoa, he kind of wide across the front too. Kind of like how Carlos is wide across the front and the back. Queen watches everything. Both of y'all are wide across the chest. And the person in that video is wide across his chest, wide hips. I've been seeing some of y'all comments. Ooh, y'all are cruel. Follow the Queen on News Break because over there, y'all give the business over there. You hear stuff over there to make you cry. The comments are just cruel. Although we have community guidelines over there like YouTube, but nobody listens. Some of the comments say you wide through the hips. So I know you don't really like that, Mr. Kidnapper. Queen gonna mess with you now. Mr. Kidnapper, are you gonna try to get the reward? Are you going to sell your friend out? Hello, Mr. Kidnapper. Are you going to try to get the reward for Nancy Guthrie? Because folks talking about that too. Is he going to sell? If it's somebody else, he got an accomplice. Do we have an accomplice? I don't know. I don't know why y'all keep thinking a person need an accomplice. People have been unaliving people all day long and they don't got nobody helping them. He had time to play with her, if you get my drift. And I want to talk about that too, because this is something that I haven't heard nobody say on YouTube. Because, you know, Queen thinks of everything. Mr. Kidnapper, what I find strange, you peddling around this nest cam with flowers, as if you knew that nobody was ever going to come to this lady's house, pop out, pop in. Help me understand. The fact that you didn't even think she had children, grandchildren, people visiting from Toledo, Ohio, New York, people come in town all times of day and night. They catch Ubers, Lyfts. They come in rental cars, and for some reason, you just knew for sure that you could play around with a Nest camera and dig up flowers out the dirt and walk all up in this old white lady house, just like it's your damn house. Come on with it, Queen. Ain't none of y'all on YouTube that pointed that out. The fact that he just knew nobody was going to be coming and going. Kind of like what the neighbor said. Oh, Surviving the Survivor. Check him out, Mr. Jeff. And Mr. Jeff, you talking a little too much. I don't mean to disrespect you, but I really want to let people know I live behind Nancy. I wouldn't give no name. Y'all doing too much out there in Arizona. Because you forgot this thing's still walking around. And you done already told, you know, Nancy from walking by her house and seeing her sit out with her dog. And the first thing I kept thinking is, well, where was Nancy sitting at? She just had a lawn chair. She pulled a whole lawn chair out there, but she couldn't walk. So where were you looking at her at? Or were you looking at her backside of her house? Yeah, I listen to everything. Where did you see her sitting with her dog? So if you saw her sitting with her dog, then somebody else could have been seeing her with her dog. Because I thought about that too. Somebody had been knowing, if this is random, they saw an old lady out by herself, no friends, nobody running and hollering and screaming, no kids running and going, and no cars parked in the driveway. Because you usually don't find houses get robbed with a lot of cars in the driveway because they don't know who stays there. Now, Kohlberger is a little different. He knew a lot of people stayed there. He didn't give a damn. He figured it was all women. They can't do nothing with me. I'm coming in gangster style. kind of like this kidnapper. Bonnie says he was a little too chatty for my liking. Okay. Bonnie said, that's exactly what I thought about Mr. Jeff. Yeah, he seems too friendly. And see, my thing is you need to be careful giving up your government name. Survivor, you put that man up on your YouTube channel with his whole damn name and face, and he telling where he stay near Nancy. I wouldn't be doing that because this fool is still out here. Y'all play some dangerous games out there in Arizona. And I realize a lot of you must be hypnotized by Martians or something, because all of you talk the same in Arizona. All you talk about is the sky, the sky. Oh, we don't need lights. Most of us have garden lights and lights around the house. Oh, no, nobody's really scared. We're just really sad because Nancy has disappeared. I think y'all putting something in that damn Kool-Aid out there. Because you were talking crazy people talk. What the fuck you mean you ain't scared? So you mean to tell me you sleeping with your door open? Because if any of you all are still sleeping with your doors open, you need to have your head checked. Because you might get a repeat, because Mr. Kidnapper's probably awfully comfortable now 4 weeks in, and ain't nobody tapped him on the shoulder unless it's Carlos or Mr. Luke. Any, mini, money, mo. Don't ever give your government name to the public when you're talking about death, murder, mayhem. Let the person get caught first before you start saying, I live right around the corner. I'm just a 2-minute walk from Nancy. Yeah, and that's what the kidnapper gonna say when he come back. Okay? we gonna hear some Hannibal Lecter part 2. I'm having lunch with an old friend. Lord have mercy, y'all done woke up Beverly sure enough. Yes, may I help you? Yes. I'm looking for Jeff, the one that did the interview. He likes to talk a lot. Slow your roll, bro. Slow your roll. All of you out there in Tucson, y'all can't make up if it's a nice town, a little town, big town. It's got a great feeling. Oh, it's a wonderful place to live. Yeah, it's a wonderful place in the neighborhood. Won't you be mine? Please stop this nonsense. A whole human is missing. Took out her bed. Ain't a damn thing nice about Tucson right now. And I get it, crime happens everywhere. But you all, I'm noticing different people talking about Tucson. If I didn't know any better, you all act like this is the afterlife. You all act like Tucson is heaven. Did I miss the rapture? I wasn't good enough? I mean, help me understand. I'm missing something here. Oh, Tucson's a wonderful place to live. Yes, I've been living here 6 years. Oh, I love it here. Oh my gosh, we just love it. Stargazing. We don't want any light pollution. No, you're too cheap. You don't want to pay no damn light bill in the city. Ain't nobody stupid. You don't even have motion lights out there for the run the what you call it? The tag readers. What kind of place is this? You don't want lights on in the neighborhood. You don't got tag readers. I keep trying to tell y'all better pay attention. There's something wrong with these folks out here. And as somebody was saying to me last night, yes, and it's a popular place for human trafficking. I said, in California too. And these people walking around here talking about they don't want light pollution. It's a wonderful place to jog at night, and we walk our dogs and we jog at 11 o'clock at night. Who the hell wants to jog in pitch blackness? How can you see where you're running? I'm just listening and I'm baffled at the way these people talk out there. You don't hear nobody in New York City talking about, oh my God, we have a wonderful neighborhood. I like to jog at 11 o'clock at night. I don't hear nobody down here where I live talking about running at night, no damn 11 o'clock. You people need to get it together. There is a woman missing, and if it can happen to her, it can happen to you. I get it. We don't know what happened to her. Maybe you're assuming it's personal. So you're assuming, well, it's one of her kin people. They did it. I ain't worried about it. They ain't coming in my house. The point is, you all have this carefree attitude about living out there in Tucson. It could happen to you, whether this is personal or not. Because from what I'm seeing on YouTube, somebody's been creeping around outside Nest cameras at night who kind of favor Billy Bob. So you all need to get some alarm systems and lock your damn doors. Now to the person that knows the kidnapper. What the hell you waiting on to get that $1 million and some change? Honey, you should have been in a radio flyer to the FBI office. I know who did it. I know who did it. That's my brother. He did it. My cousin, he did it. My brother, my cousin, my man, my husband. What you waiting on? I wish the hell I would look at that video and then sit beside you at night on the sofa in my bed and tell myself, that's my husband on that damn Nest camera. And still be sitting there with him and laying up with him and having sex with him. The hell if I will. Because if you will take a 84-year-old lady and do what I think you did to her, you'll do it to me. And I know somebody out there knows who this person is. You've seen the backpack, you've seen the jacket, you've seen the shoes, you've seen the walk, the build. You know exactly who he is. And why you have not called the FBI is a mystery to me. But that lets me know you just as crazy and probably know all about it. As they're saying on social media, it's only a matter of time he or they are going to slip up. And if it's more than one, there's always a weaker link. There's the orchestrator and there's the follower. And the follower is going to be the one that's going to bust hell wide open. Because he's going to get scared and shaky if he isn't already. I think they know. I think they know. They got your video. They got that video of you. They got the video of you. They're wondering what's in your pocket. I was thinking it might be brass knuckles. Something to subdue the victim. Come in. Start punching her in her face in the bed. Were those brass knuckles in his pocket, since everybody's talking about what's in the perpetrator's pocket? Could be brass knuckles. I'm trying to tell you something wrong with them people out there in Arizona. Nobody can make me believe different. They on some other SHIT out there. There's something wrong with them folks out there. Everybody singing Kumbaya and holding hands and walking around, talking about how wonderful it is and it's beautiful weather and we like to drive in the dark. We like to walk our dogs in the dark. We like to jog in the dark. We don't want light pollution. Oh my gosh, the sky's so beautiful here. We like to stargaze. Oh, we've got a great astrology program at the university. Who gives a damn about what the hell y'all talking about? You people talking about acting like y'all in the occult or something. I'm starting to wonder if this is the Stepford Wives Husbands Part 3. The hell is going on out there? You people don't talk like you're normal. And no disrespect to some of you that live in Arizona, but there's something wrong with them folks in Tucson. Because I don't think some of you are taking this serious. I think some of you have made up in your mind that you think you know who it is, and that's why you're not concerned about your safety. That's the only way I can look at this. Because that's all I keep hearing every time somebody's interviewed that's from Tucson. All you all talk about is the sky, how beautiful the sky is. Well, last I checked, the sky in Arizona is the same damn sky here in Tennessee, New York, Idaho, Washington, D.C., Wisconsin, Alaska. See where I'm going with this? You all act like God just gave y'all a special sky. Well, what have we been looking up at? Help me understand. What the hell we been looking up at down here in Tennessee? Oh, I forgot. We've been looking up at the AI generated sky. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. On Sunday, the family members visited the house, looking at the cards. They took flowers, yellow. I was wondering if maybe yellow was Nancy's favorite color. Banner put up at the news station where Savannah used to work. Savannah, Tommaso, and Annie hugging one another. Bet that shocked everybody. But where was Cameron and where was Annie's son? Yeah, let's talk about it. Anybody want to come up, hit the link, or you gonna let Queen talk all night? Where was Cameron? Where was Soldier Boy at? The one that's been so quiet and, oh, that's just his demeanor. He's just stoic like that. You know, he's been in the military. You people love to throw the military into everything when people act like they're staring off into space. Oh, he's in the military. He's from the military. And them the same ones that like to detonate shit, blow up shit. They get mad, they want to take everybody down. You know I'm telling the truth. But where was he? Because at first it was 3 blind mice. See how they run. What happened on Sunday? One mouse took a vacation. And another one stepped in his place. And they all were hugging, touching one another. I said, woo, some of y'all mad as hell. Because a lot of y'all think Tommaso and Annie did this. But you know what I found interesting? She was the first one to holler when they walked down the driveway and got close to the flowers and the cards. It kind of makes me think about Black folks and funerals. I know somebody out there saying, this lady's pushing it. That's why they call me Queen, baby. You know, there's a saying with Black folks about the first one to holler at a funeral. I know some of you are like, well, Queen, I don't know. I'm not Black, so I don't know where you're going with this. Well, I'm going to tell you. Just hold your horses. Usually the first one, and this is just an assumption, so don't say it's factual. But this is just a little black people joke. Usually the one that's the loudest at the funeral was the one known as the Hellraiser, the one that caused problems in the family. And I caught that sniffle, hollering with Annie when they got to the edge of the driveway. As soon as I heard her, I said, that's not Savannah. That's Annie. Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay? Oh, Michael Jackson. If only he knew. His song will be revisited 2026. I mean, she just hollered and leaned into Tommaso. And I'm going to tell you what really got me is when Duty Ron said he looked like Stephen Stern. My child almost fell out my bed when he said that. I said, oh, damn, Duty Ron. No, you didn't do that. Stephen Stern. Did y'all hear that? Interesting. And Stephen Stern was wearing shades. Tommaso, you don't ever you don't ever go without them shades, do you? You kind of broad across the chest too. Most men are, Don't quote me like I'm trying to insinuate who's the perpetrator. All these men seem to be wide across the chest. Tommaso, Carlos, and Luke. All dark-haired men by birth. You be the judge. Now, out of these three mice, neither could be the perpetrator. Just saying. But I am wondering where the brother was. Buddy, where were you? Where was Cameron? Where was Annie's son? Somebody asked that. I thought, well, he's young. Young boys, they don't care for that kind of stuff. They don't care for funerals. They don't care for, standing around sobbing. Where's Cameron's wife? Just asking. Curious. Where is this case going? Because it's too much chitter chatter with this sheriff. Now we got news interviews by Carlos, Luke, and his mother. His mother seems, I don't know, kind of green to me. Just something about her. She seems very naive. Or maybe she's not. I don't know. I could be wrong. But I just can't understand somebody knocking at my door with a warrant. And I just say, come on in. Oh, I would love to help you find Nancy Guthrie. But she's not here. Oh, yeah, I've been a smart bitch. What the hell do you want, FBI? Oh, we have a warrant to search your house. For what? For what? Why are you here? First, I would have been thinking, what has my son done? Did she think that? Well, she didn't tell that during the interview. Mary, did you think that Luke had got into something? And that's why your house is being searched? And if I'm right and Luke is still in them streets, dibble-dabbling with them drugs, he was probably scared to pull over. But he noticed the sheriff was following him, so he pulled over. But his Range Rover was returned to him. Now, I want everybody to put this on paper. Listen very carefully now. Luke has his Range Rover back, but he still don't have his phone. But we have heard nothing about Annie's car. So how the fuck did his car get back before Annie's got back? Or am I wrong? Somebody bring me a receipt and tell me if Annie has a car back. Because some FBI agents, ex-FBI agents, think that's suspicious. Few law enforcement people I've been listening to in podcasts think it's strange her car was gone as long as it has been. Unless she secretly has it back and we don't know about it. I don't know. What will the phones reveal? And see, Sheriff, you've eaten your words because during the press conference with the FBI, what did you say? That you're not going to rule anyone out in case you have to go back. And then here you are saying the family have been ruled out, and that also Also, they had access to the home within 1 week. The same week that you shut down the investigation, shut the house down. Shut the house down within 2 days, shut the search down within 2 days, and now you're going to tell us the family had access to the house within the first week, and you hadn't even seized Nancy's car or Annie's car. Make it make sense. You don't know what you're doing, bro. You don't even know what the hell you're doing. And also that interview I played for the chat the other day where you said that Tommaso and Annie were in the house. They saw her in the house. So they were in her house. You left that part out too in the beginning of this investigation press conference. Oh, they took her home. They walked her in. They stayed for a while, had some tea, some cake, Doritos. You ain't told us none of that. And I'm not here to say that these kids did something to Nancy, but we have to stay on page. That most people who go missing, it's usually the person that saw them last, unless you can prove that somebody else knocked at her door. Now, one could say, well, the kidnapper knocked at her door. Doesn't mean he knows Tommaso and Annie or Savannah or Nancy or Cameron or Annie's son. Maybe not. But he was too comfortable for my tape. Way too comfortable. So I'm going to ask the universe because Nancy can't answer. Mr. Kidnapper, do you know Nancy Guthrie? And if you know her, how do you know her? Did you work for her? Pass by her house? Were you looking for a victim, somebody's house to rob? Are you a drug addict? Because I got a feeling you get high on drugs. And perhaps that's what this is about. A dope fiend out looking for a victim, somebody's house to rob. But the crazy part is that you went there with a full backpack. So that sounds intentional and don't really sound like a robbery. Because that means you'd have to grab a bag from Nancy's house to fill it up with goodies. So did you get a bag from her house and fill it up with goodies? And we haven't heard that anything's missing from her house. I'd like to know if something's missing. And I think the kids naturally should have noticed anything that looked out of place on that Sunday when Nancy went missing. So strange she was kidnapped the same day, early next morning after hanging out. Yes, but that's the whole point. People always look at the person who was around the victim last. That's just common sense. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not nothing personal. It's just what law enforcement is supposed to do. If you were hanging with your friends, you're supposed to question the friends. If you were with coworkers, you're supposed to question the coworkers. That's the right thing to do. And the one thing we've learned about a lot of people who have gone missing and later turned up unalive, the last people they were with were responsible for unaliving them. Checkmate. We can't sugarcoat what has been a known fact and a known statistic. We've heard these stories how many times with missing children. I put them to bed. I saw them to bed. I put him on the school bus, blah, 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 blah. I picked him up after school. Yep, and now he's missing. Now she's missing. It's always the who and the why. And as I said, I didn't want to say who I think hurt this lady because I don't know Nancy to speculate. Because I could be wrong. Just as quick as I could think it's somebody in her family, it could be a neighbor. It could be a neighbor's relative, an associate of a neighbor. Could be somebody just looking for a thrill kill. Because you do have people like that. They want to taste blood. And they go out for the hunt. What if this is random? This person went to her house. They had watched her, seen that she comes out occasionally would, to sit or had a dog, and they cased the house a month, 2, 3, whatever. And they realized there wasn't a lot of foot traffic. There weren't a lot of cars coming and going, in and out, in and out. They drove by, and they just decided to make this house the mark. I'm going to go in this house. I'm going to play funny games with this lady. Sophie says, I think someone was in the house when she got home. Interesting. Well, then why walk up to the front of the house if you've already been there? You'd be in the closet or somewhere hiding. You just jump out. Come out. No need of walking up to the front door with your backpack. You'd be walking out of the door, wouldn't you? If you've already been in the house, did your crime, and I would assume you'd be walking out with Nancy. Don't know if the door was open, closed. When he got there, unlocked rather. Sheriff won't tell us how the perpetrator got in. Well, you probably don't want to tell us because there was no breaking and entering, which means he had a key, a code, or Nancy left the door unlocked, or somebody else left the door unlocked. Checkmate. A lot of options there. A lot of options. Where is Nancy Guthrie? Is there somebody out there that can tell us where she is? Of course, there's somebody out there. Probably more than one somebody's. But I'm going to tell you now, you are not about to get that money, honey. So you can cancel that. You are not about to get no 1 million, 1.2, nothing. Because there's going to have to be an arrest and prosecution. And that's where the problem's going to be. The arrest and prosecution. So you all can quit twiddling your thumbs trying to figure out a way to get the money. If that's what you're doing, you're not going to get the money. You messed up. You have no business breaking in that lady's house. Whoever broke in her house, walked in her house. You had no business going in that lady's house. You had no business putting your hands on her. You had no business removing her. And I do believe you took her life. You had no business unaliving that lady. Whether you were hired, you were high, you were looking for dope money, you were looking for jewelry, you were, whatever your reasons were, sexual assault, you had no business going in that lady's house. And that's what some of you people in Tucson need to wake up and realize. There is somebody dirty walking amongst you, and you all are talking about stargazing and leaving doors unlocked, and it's a great place in the neighborhood. You better wake up, because it can be you next. Just like the Tiffany, she had a Nest camera but woke up to someone in her bedroom. What are we supposed to do now? Sleep with firearms under our pillows? I think she died that night, possibly. That's why we know it's intentional. Backpack and a weapon. And allegedly had been there before, either hours before, the day before, or January. It doesn't really matter the time. The point is, it's evident that she was targeted deliberately for whatever reason. The person was intent in getting her out of there, not no botched robbery, because you're going in there armored up with backpacks and stuff. Make it make sense. That's not a robbery, me going in to rob. I always tell people, think about what you're saying. When did you know a robber to go into a house with the backpack full? If they go rob a place, don't you think they'd go unload and then come back out with an empty backpack? Stay woke. Because I asked that. I said, well, maybe he'd already done a robbery and he just wanted to continue on to the next house. Make it make sense. I'll get a bag in her house. I'll get a bag at this lady's house. But the only way I can see a person having a full backpack to go rob another house is if they were on foot. And we know that can't be possible because Nancy's missing. And the assumption is he took her out. And that's what we heard from the sheriff, if we're to believe that dodo bird. So I'm going to go ahead and believe him. He took her out. So I don't think it was other goodies in that backpack from somebody else's house. He had a kill kit. Some of you may not want to hear that, but that's what I believe was in that backpack. So this is deeper than a robbery, if I believe that was a kill kit on his back. This is sinister. This is sinister. This is personal. Whatever the reason is, whatever the motive is. So those people out there in Tucson, you all better open your eyes, because this person is walking around you, still eating, sleeping, slumbering, drinking, as if they haven't done anything. And they may be scared, they may not be scared, but they're free. That's the point. And you should be fearful. Open your eyes. Come out this fog you all are in, this imaginary fog that you all have crawled in. It's time for you all to crawl out of there. There's a madman walking around Tucson or the general area. Now, if this lady is alive, where did he take her? Probably not far. It's not to say that a person deceased has not been driven far. I've seen them dropped off across state lines. That one lady took that stepson way across the country. Depends on the perpetrator, what he wants to do with the body. That's all we can do at this point is ask why. Who and why? Who would want this lady unalive? Who has something to gain? As I said, a random KILL or somebody close to the victim. And what reason would somebody close want an 84-year-old woman deceased? One thing we know, you can't get any money because she's got to be declared DEAD. There's no body. 7 years in most states if a body never surfaces. So if you're doing it for the money, got to have a body for insurance purposes, money in the bank account, divide up an estate. Somebody said the house is estate or something. Somebody said trust fund, in a trust. So I don't know. No anybody won't know where they got that from. But the point is, if it's for the money and insurance money, you can't get it because there's no body. So if it is personal from family, what was the motive? Because I don't think a bank's going to let anybody touch our money. You have to go to court to do that. To say, oh, we believe she's deceased. And you got to follow state law pertaining to going in someone's account in the belief that they're deceased. To hurt or get back at Savannah. Who might that be, Sophie? Enlighten the queen. Come on. Play along with me. Who would want to hurt Savannah by kidnapping her mother? What did she do to someone for them to do this? It's a cruel joke. Is it one of her siblings? Could this be jealousy by Cameron or Annie? Mommy loves you more, cares for you more than us. You're the golden child, the successful one, pretty one. I'll show her. Weigh in. What if it's that quiet when you all refuse to talk about the brother? Men get jealous too, you know. Could it be she's helped the mother along the way, but not her siblings? They've been wanting a little extra change, a little extra money here and there. She won't help us, but she'll help mommy. And we must not forget about the kidnap gang. We cannot let that slide because that's too coincidental as well. And as one law official said last night, there are no coincidences in true crime. And I have said that on this network. And when he said it last night, I was screaming. Kidnap gang. Well, that CEO of that insurance company, that Luigi guy, he unallowed him right on a public street. So you can be found, honey. She goes to work every day in New York. All you have to do is sit outside the studio. You want to get to Savannah. It's easy. Everybody knows she's going to work, just like all the other people that work for CBS, CNN. They got to go into work. Kidnap the one she loves the most. It's this sibling rivalry, sibling jealousy. Savannah was the golden child, favorite child, or the cash cow, however you want to look at it. Somebody was not getting what they needed from Nancy over the years. Didn't get what they wanted from Savannah. Unhappy inside, unfulfilled inside. So we're going to take out the head knocker. We're going to take out mommy. Could it be that one of Nancy's children didn't like their mother? I hate talking about this because it's just hard to digest somebody wanting to unalive their own mother. But I mention it, not saying that this is my theory, but I'm just throwing it out there. So no disrespect to the Guthries. But there is sibling rivalry in a lot of households, and there is a lot of animosity in people's households. So we can't just pretend it does not exist. That would be some hard SHIT to digest. Because the fact that she was hugging on them Sunday, and just imagine one of these people have taken your mother and hurt your mother, and you're standing there hugging on them and rubbing on them. Now imagine if she's doing it and she knows that one of them have done it. Oh my gosh, I can't imagine. Oh Lord, I can't imagine. That's why I was thinking about the brother not being around. The day they go to the house, he's a no-show. Why? What happened? Cameron, you sick? Didn't feel good? Couldn't handle it? Didn't want to be in front of the cameras? You're a shy guy. Private guy. Weigh in, everybody. And that kidnap game, it's never even heard of no game like that before in my life. 50-something years old, never heard of nothing like that. Because you got to ask yourself, jealousy within the family, expectations not met, mommy had a favorite, or mommy depended on this kid a lot. Nobody's really getting along, but we're putting on smiling faces for the public. mommy allowed some relatives to pretend to kidnap us as children. We're going to payphones. That's a bit extreme to me. I don't know what kind of game y'all think this is that's funny. It's not funny, really. So I never heard of such. Come on, let's go to a payphone, call mommy. That's why I said this would be perfect if it's somebody in the family. Because we've done this already. Stay woke, everybody. We've played this game with mommy when we were children. So how convenient would it be to have mommy be the pawn in the game this time? I'll show you. You had us play this stupid game as children. What was the point? Now let me do you one better, Nancy. You'll be the kidnap victim this time. Bonnie says someone spoke about Nancy living alone, having money, and being vulnerable in front of the wrong person. Well, Mr. Jeff says that they didn't even know she had a famous daughter. And I've heard a few people say that. So obviously Nancy didn't talk about Savannah and her wealth, the daughter's wealth. So that leaves what then? And it's not saying you can't get robbed if nobody, didn't know that Savannah was her daughter. So we're just weighing all the options here. Because there are a few. Family, distant family, someone that worked for Nancy, someone that picked her up, dropped her off, brought things to the house, such as medicine, deliveries, food, packages, mail, Uber drivers. That's enough right there. Somebody that's done work for the house, somebody she let go. Newly hired person. See, the options can become endless. Once you get to 3 options, that's 3 options too many. Then it could be random. Somebody just drove by looking for a victim, looking for a house that looked desolate, possibly an Airbnb, excuse me. Oh, this is like a nice house. There's not a lot of movement here. Never see any cars coming and going. Yeah, let's pick this house here, this brick rancher. Could have walked through the weeds at night and peeked around Nancy's house. She wouldn't even know what was going on. Because I've looked at the layout for 4 weeks now. And let's just be truthful. You wouldn't see anybody during the day watching you with all that shrubbery. And you wouldn't see anybody at night. No way, Jose. And the way the shrubbery runs into other people's properties, because like I told you, if you cut down all that shrubbery from front to back, you could easily walk onto your neighbor's property. If that stuff was cut down, you'd have a straight shot walking on either property, in the front of you, behind you, side of you. Wouldn't be no problem. You cut down the shrubbery, one of the houses behind, they'd have a clean shot into Nancy's backyard. Vice versa. So God knows at night, anybody can be standing on her property, watching her through the glass doors, and she wouldn't even know. She can't see. People who came around probably talked about her in front of an opportunist. Maybe. That's why I say it. Too many possibilities at this point. Because you just don't know. Because as I said, you don't know Nancy. You don't know what kind of person she is. What she says, don't say, her temperament, how she treats people, how she interacts with people. Is she the type to invite people over, come to her house to eat for dinner? Does she invite strangers to her house for tea or to talk about the Bible? See, you have to know all those things. But that's how you'll get to the truth. it's a sad case. It's like I said, no matter the motive, it's still sickening to be talking about an elderly person who had probably a few more years to survive and live on this earth and possibly snuffed out over what? The FBI profiler Brian in interview today talked about some men being attracted to elderly. Yes, and that's something a lot of people don't like to talk about, I'm sure. Sexual assault. But anything is possible. Because like I said, you don't know what type of woman she is. She might have been a frisky old lady. You know, no disrespect. But you have to talk about these things because they are relevant. As I've told many of you, just because a person is elderly, they're not DEAD. They're not DEAD inside. They still have emotions. They still have desires. They still want to have sex. They still want to be touched, loved, all of that. So who's to say she might have been flirting with a guy? Maybe didn't mean any harm. Maybe had no intention of doing anything with them. Maybe he wanted to follow through. Oh, she's smiling at me. She's asking me to come over for dinner. She'll make me something to eat. She'll offer me chocolate chip cookies, cake. See, people can misconstrue things as well. Person that's nice, want to offer you a little small gift, a bundt cake or something, a pie. Now you think they're interested in you. Now they're sneaking around your Nest camera. You don't know people. Some men are like that. You can be nice, friendly, knock on their door just to have conversation and talk. Now they think you like them. It's not even like that. See, people can misconstrue just a person being friendly. This is why I always say you have to be careful talking to people, borrowing things, knocking on doors, walking up to people when they're pulling in their cars. People can misconstrue something very simple. But see, I'd like to know that if she ever had company in her house that her children did not know about. Because people don't tell their kids everything. I think most of you know this. You're an adult. Do you tell your children everything? Your every waking thought? Of course not. Because they may not like some of the things you think about. Oh, no, not my mother. She would never. Not my dad. Oh, you'd be surprised what the human brain can ponder on. Might even shock the devil. But we're human. And I think a lot of people don't really think about that when you have these type of cases. You just assume one thing and you ride on that and you beat it down, and it may not even be that. As Mr. Nanos has told us about being cruel. As Mr. Luke told us, I just want to get on with my life. Well, how were you living? I wondered that. Luke Daly, what do you do for a living? What is your occupation? Why are you living with your mother? Why is a man almost 40 living with his mom? Please don't tell me you're helping mommy out because she needs help. I think you're probably another Nick Reiner living high off the hog because you can. Because that's a nice house that Mary has out there in the desert as well. I thought about that when Brian Enton went knocking on the door. I said, oh my, this is a nice area, as mommy said in the interview. Yes, you see, we live on a cul-de-sac. Yes, you do. And I got a feeling that Luke Boy does not pay any rent at your address. Do you, Luke? Do you pay mommy any rent? Do you pay for Wi-Fi, cable, groceries, insurance on the house, taxes every year? You're almost 40 years old living with your mother. Why is that? Do you have a girlfriend? Do you date? Ever been married? Do you have children? When it's time for you to get a little nookie, where do you Meet the lady. Come on with it, Queen. Please don't tell me you take her back to your mother's house. Now, Mama, you stay in your room. Go to bed now. I got company. Lord have mercy. What they say was done in the desert stays in the desert. I should say so. I would love an ending to come to this case. As I was saying to myself earlier, I do not want to look up and we have flowers blooming and we're still talking about Nancy Guthrie missing. Just looking at all those pretty flowers and roses, yellow roses out there in front of her house, made me think of flowers blooming. And it is now March. And we will have the trees blooming, flowers popping up at some point, and it will be a shame to still be talking about this woman missing. I wonder what kind of car Luke drove before. He said he bought the Range Rover after Nancy incident. Well, he wrecked his car. That car you see parked in the front looks like a black Charger. That car was totaled. He talked about that in the interview about the insurance and everything. Trying to get get it totaled out through the insurance. So he bought the Range Rover. I guess after he wrecked the car. How did he wreck the car? I was wondering about that too, because it's front end damage, which makes me think you ran into somebody, which by law means you're at fault. So that's probably why maybe you ain't got no payout. I don't know. That's what it kind of sounded like in the interview. You're trying to get the insurance to pay because they know that when you ram somebody from behind, that means you're at fault. What did the police say about the car wreck? I'm curious. Did you pay insurance? Was the car insured? Lots of questions. I think perhaps Luke has issues. Yeah, I'm telling you, the car parked in the front of the yard, it's wrecked. He had a wreck. That's why he has the Range Rover. I saw that when Brian Ian went to the house 2 weeks ago. Car was wrecked. Who is Luke Daly? Here's a criminal past. Let him tell it it's nothing major compared to snatching old ladies out of their house, as his mommy would say. Nothing like that. I'm looking at the mother like, honey, I don't know what your son would do and not do. And I ain't about to sit here and say, oh no, he would never break into an old lady's house. I don't know him. I don't know you. So I'm not about to say what somebody would and wouldn't do. I'm just not. Because I don't know you all. I don't know him. I just know this is a jacked up situation. And the one thing I've also learned about true crime is that a lot of times law officials have spoken with the perpetrator, but he's goes under the radar. Maybe they looked at him at first, but they didn't have anything. Things he did and said were suspicious. Things pointed to him, but they didn't have enough. Could it be Luke and or Carlos is the guy? One of them is the guy. But law officials don't have enough to bring forward a warrant. And also, we learned that the lawyers, prosecutor's office, they were at the house days ago. So they're running over everything, I guess, for a future warrant arrest. Sophie says his mom seemed a bit off to me. Yes, I thought the same. I didn't want to appear rude, but we're all entitled to our opinion. I think she was too dazed. It's just something about the way she talked. Because, a lot of people know their children. Let me say that. So she's going to say, no, he wouldn't do it, and he don't know nobody that would do it. Oh, yeah, I think Luke does know somebody that would go in Nancy's house and rob her, assault her. He's been in the street. He's a street boy. So he knows somebody that would carjack, steal a car, rob a person, home invasion. Hell yeah, he do. Yes, he do. Frankly, that's what I was thinking earlier. Whoever he is, he went up in Nancy's house like she was the cartel. Come on with it, Queen. That's the only time that people usually go in your house with you in the house. It's because they think you got dope in your house. Dope or money or both. That's how this person went in Nancy's house. Like she's the damn dope dealer. Make it make sense. And this guy is known to have used drugs. And let me tell you something. It is hard for people to get off of drugs. And especially with the type of drugs they have now. They got drugs now that can make you twist around like an acrobat. And the people like the high. That's the reason why most people don't stop using drugs. It's because they like getting high. They enjoy getting high. And for all I know, Luke might be that guy. He just dressed up nice for the interview, got a fresh haircut, and lied to that lady talking about, I'm 2 years clean. Yeah, 2 years ain't enough in Queen's book. 2 years is just enough time to relapse. Yeah. Was probably among the searchers of media crew. And I've also asked that, did the perpetrator ever make it back to Nancy's house or neighborhood? Curious to see who's still lurking about. That's why I found it strange that guy run up and down the street in that blue Toyota. Who does that in the dark? Because you knew the news media had left. How convenient. You heard it in Espanol. Oh, the Guthries are getting the house back. Oh, the news people have left. And then poof, you pop up just out of nowhere. And then you didn't just ride down the street once. You kept riding back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. For all I know, the kidnapper sent him over there. See, you have to pay attention to everything, because in the midst of all this weird shit, it's where the truth lies. All these weird circumstances. Phone pings, geofencing, cars run up and down the highway. Then something else somebody threw out. I believe it was on Nancy Grace's channel or somebody's channel. They were saying that they believe that he was doing sign language while he was hitting the Nest camera. Have y'all heard that? Is that true, kidnapper? You were making sign language motions? Sound a little bit far-fetched to me. But you know what came to mind when they were saying that? I had to go deep in the belly of the beast. Who better to know sign language than a school teacher? Tommaso. And if he had a partner who knew sign language, another teacher, that's the other little fella that everybody thinks involved. Yeah, I put that together earlier. I think this guy's dumb as a doorknob, quite frankly. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Criminals do strange things, as I told you all before. When they go in your house, especially with this type of situation, we're talking about them doing the most grimy of things, if you understand where I'm going. Lie in your bed, lie under your bed, go in your dresser drawer, touch your clothes, put body fluids on your clothes, use your restroom, take a shower, eat your food, drink a beer, drink out the milk carton. It has been proven. Because you got to think about it. This guy's been in his house doing whatever he wanted for however many minutes. Everybody keeps going on and on about the 41 minutes, but you really don't have any proof that he stayed there that long. He could have stayed longer. How do you know? It didn't seem like he was in a rush. So how you keep going on and on about 41 minutes? And then worrying about this Kia Soul is the car and blah, blah, blah. You don't even know how long he stayed in her house. You don't know if he went and dumped her and came back to her house. There's nobody there. And possibly he knew this. Nobody's coming to check on Nancy. Nobody's coming in from out of town. There's no Ubers, no Lyfts, no church people. I can do what I want in this house. Stay woke. This could be another Koi burger. Check in, check out, check back in. And also, who's the person that called the family to say she didn't show up at the house for church? What was the actual time for the phone call? It was a little bit after 11, I believe. So what time did Annie and the husband actually get to Mrs. Guthrie's house? Because I believe the phone call came in at about 11:57, something like that. So you say you searched. Where'd you search? She can't walk, so I always tell people, pay attention to the details. Who I was searching for? Well, why would you need to search for somebody that can't walk? And another thing that Jeff said last night on Surviving the Survivor, we used to see her outside, but not lately. What happened? Why was Nancy not seen lately? It's not like it snows out there. Don't have winter storms, blizzards. Was Nancy's health failing her and she stopped coming out? Was she sad about the dog passing, allegedly? Why was she not seen by the neighbors? See, you got to know who this woman is and what was going on with her to get to the bottom of the who and the why. Because naturally, if we knew everything, it probably would make a lot of sense, but we don't know everything. So we're getting little bits and pieces. We haven't seen her in a while. Interesting. Was her health failing? She stopped going outside to sit. Now I thought about something, and I'm going to check out of here because I'm almost at 3 hours. Was this a mercy killing? Let somebody say, whoa, damn, Queen, that's deep. I know. Did you all get rid of your mother because her health was failing? And you had somebody go in there and hurt her, dump her off somewhere? I know that sounds extreme. But maybe you didn't want to do it. Leave her body there in the house. I don't know. Just thinking of everything I can think of. See, when I have to go this deep in the belly of the beast is where I don't want to tread. But I know people do weird SHIT. She's not well. She's not good. Let's make it look like somebody robbed her, kidnapped her, dumped her somewhere, keep it moving. Don't want to leave her in the house because they'll definitely look at us, the family. Were these kids tired of dealing with her, taking care of her, having to look after her? Some of you keep weighing it down about the Uber. She shouldn't have been in the Uber. Some people think it was no big deal. Everybody's entitled to his or her opinion. But then somebody mentioned about it being dark at night. So that's the reason why I guess they didn't mind taking her home. They didn't want her riding in an Uber at night. Then you have to say Nancy might have been the type that was feisty. I'll take an Uber over. Don't worry. I'll make my own way. I don't want to put you out. Maybe they were cooking. They didn't want to get leave the stove. But then somebody said, well, why the other one can't go get her? It's always an answer for everything, isn't it? What did they eat? Some of you want to know, what did they eat? Who all was there? Who showed up? Any uninvited guests? Anybody that knew Nancy, didn't know her? How many people were in the car when she got dropped off? And did you all go in her house? You saw her in from the driveway. You saw her in from the front door. You walked her into the front door. You walked her in through the driveway. You sat a minute. And then some of you are speculating one of you opened the door for the perpetrator. Dear God, I hope not. Because I don't understand how you could sleep at night knowing you hired somebody to hurt your mother. So let's discuss that briefly, and I'm out of here. If they hired somebody to hurt Nancy, how are you going to pay the person? See, none of you have thought about that. Everybody's got their theories, but I've never heard anybody say what the person on the other end would be expected. Because if they're not well off and don't have any money, what were they going to pay the doer with? Stay woke now. Tell you, got to think of everything. Let's say Cameron, Tommaso, Annie and Tommaso, Annie and Cameron wanted to get rid of mommy. They found some hood rat to go in there and rough up their mother and dump their mom. How are you going to pay the person? Well, now, ain't nobody got an answer for that. Some of you believe there was two. Some of you believe it's two men, a guy and a girl. We do know there's a DNA mixture inside the house of a man and a woman. I would assume it's Nancy's and whoever roughed her up. She probably scratched the person, fought, pulled some hair. She might have bit him. Interesting. And somebody said today, maybe she pulled a mask off. Exactly. Recognize the voice, the eyes. The eyes have it. I think most of us know that if we saw one of our friends, loved ones with a mask on, we would definitely know it's them. Because when you're around a person, you know their features. And even with the person right in your face, you would be saying, Pookie, what you doing with this mask on? So did she recognize the person in the mask? Did she say something and call the person out? Did she fight back? Did she scratch the person, bite the person, pull the mask off? What happened in that house? Who was wearing that mask? Does this lady know her perpetrator? I can't imagine what she went through in there. How frightful she must have been, knowing the person or not. Why are you here? Why are you doing this to me? I haven't done anything to you. I'll give you whatever you want. Please just let me go. My daughter's famous. She'll pay you. Please don't hurt me. And I can only imagine what his response was. I don't care about your daughter. It's not about your daughter. It's not about the money. Wow. If the walls could talk. I think if we were to hear the conversation, we probably wouldn't even want to go outside. Even be afraid to be in our own homes. Because I got a feeling there may be some recorded conversations of what happened in Nancy's house. Because you remember, he took the Nest Cam off of its holder and they had to go somewhere. So they either went in his pockets, or he put them in the bag, that full backpack. And imagine listening to somebody suffer, fight back, and hear the perpetrator talking nasty to the victim. And maybe even told her why he was there. Lord have mercy. God help us all. Please stay safe out here. Be aware of your faculties. Be mindful of what you discuss with people in public, what you talk about, what you post to social media. People come to your house to work. Do not speak on anything personal pertaining to your children. If you're single, married, divorced, widow, widower, who comes, who's leaving, going out of town, traveling, don't talk about nothing. Thank you, sweetie. Good night. Ask to alert a person of your personal life, because it's the little things that tell the story about you. Because sometimes we do chitter chat too much with strangers, and people can put things together. People get your personal information when you fill out these stupid forms for discount cards. You don't know who's sucking this information up and what they're doing with it. And that's what we all need to understand. People get a hold of our information and you don't even know who's reading this stuff. Just like going into Walmart to get a money order. Why do you need my personal information for me to pay you for a money order? You don't need it. For what? I'm not cashing a check. But got your government name. So that's what I'm saying. Got your name, got your phone number. That's enough to get started snooping. Then they're saying your name out loud on the line and other people can hear. Then people are sitting here wondering why somebody's stalking them. Because people ear hustle. People talk. We live in a scary ass world. And as you see what's going on in our country and abroad, what happened in Austin with the shooting, young people out trying to have a good time, living their best life. Now they're in the hospital trying to survive. 84-year-old lady missing from her home, her own personal bed. Nobody knows where she is except for the person that took her out of there. Young people arguing over nonsense, fighting, arguing, I guess, in a hospital. Now both of them are deceased with a newborn, not knowing the parents are gone. People are very unhappy. That's what I see. And I've said this about the Nancy Guthrie case. This is a case about bitterness, spite, hatefulness, honoring. And you're going to pay the piper. And as this guy said to me the other night, he says, oh, I think we're going to be real shocked when the person is arrested. Maybe, maybe not. But I'll be glad for it to be over with, because this person does not deserve to be walking around, eating and sleeping, sucking up free oxygen that they more than likely snuffed out of an 84-year-old. You don't have the right to be walking around. You don't have the right to eat, sleep, go to work, play golf, go to the movies, drive a car, take a walk at night under the sky, and stargaze. You don't deserve that right. And whoever knows what you've done, they don't deserve the right either. So we don't even know how long this story goes, how far down the rabbit hole this story goes, how many people know, how many people are involved. We messed up and we find out it's more than 2. But as I said in the end, what did you gain? If Nancy Guthrie is not alive, what did you gain? Because yes, there's some people hurt, maybe hurt for a while, cry for a while. But as the scripture says, this too shall pass. The question is, where are you going to be? Hopefully staring down concrete walls in a real small box, wanting to claw your way out because you decided to hurt an old lady for nonsense reasons. As they say, point of no return. Can't go back now. And actually, you're not going to come forward and tell the truth. Why would you do that? Because then you would be forfeiting your own freedom. You're not going to do that. But I can tell you one thing. You're going to wish like hell you never went to that lady's house. Oh, yes. You are going to wish you never went to Nancy Guthrie's home. And possibly you're wishing that now. Oh man, I fucked up. I fucked up bad. Indeed, you did. And you can't go back. If anyone has information to the whereabouts of Nancy Guthrie, please call the FBI. If you think you know who was in that video, give up their name. You don't have anything to lose. Ooh, and a whole lot to gain. This could be your mother, your grandmother. And even if there was no money involved, you should want to tell the truth because it's the right thing to do. Because you don't want to be like the person that took her out of her home. That means you have no empathy if it's got to be about the money. Because what goes around comes around. And you might one day be a Nancy Guthrie story. Follow the Queen on the News Breakout. Like, share, subscribe. Drop your comments below this video. Give me your opinions on Luke and Mary's interview with the news. Do you think he's involved? Or do you think his mother thinks he's involved, but she saved face on a news interview? Do you think he's been in trouble recently? Breaking the law, getting high on drugs? Who do you think the perpetrator is? How many people do you think are involved? Do you think somebody's going to finally come forward with this $1 million reward? And will this woman ever be recovered? Mrs. Guthrie, weigh in. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $ Big Angie, 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome in the live stream. Thank you for your time. God bless all of you. Have a wonderful week. My movie suggestion is What Lies Beneath. It is free on YouTube. If you like thrillers, mysteries, it's a very nice thriller. It's not gory. I think you'll like it. Starring Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer. Thank you all. Thank you all so much for supporting this network. Prayers for Nancy Guthrie and her family. Prayers for justice, that the truth will be revealed and suspects will be apprehended. Amen. You all be careful out there. You have been listening to Vol Excel. Thank you.